Any of this super important? Not at the moment. Discord. No. Add Discord. Stop. There we go. There we go. Hello everyone, I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and we are playing the Great Continental War of the Setting Sun, a Fantasy Age 2nd Edition RPG. We're in our 7th mission so far, I believe. Yes, we are. And let us get right into it. Under the cobalt sky of late spring, the village of Lysel stirred with anticipation, ignorant of the tempest that loomed on the horizon. In these moments before the storm, Sous-Lieutenant Diego Borgia found himself dispatched into the shadows of the woodlands, his keen eyes scanning the forest depths alongside the Imperial Guard. Their mission, to ensure the darkness did not conceal unwanted visitors, potential threats lurking in the undergrowth. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Cormac MacNeil, the Tin Allender Earl of Strathcliffe, awaited the arrival of a distant envoy from his homeland. Duty and the distant pull of family demanded his attention. A respite from the brewing storm in the continent's political landscape. MacNeil, always the diplomat, prepared himself for the intricacies of his state matters and the labyrinthine demands of his faraway kin. Sous-Lieutenant Isabelle Dumas, a steadfast figure in the shifting sands of allegiance, edged closer to the heart of the political fray. The call of the Friends of the Constitutional Order, those stoic militarists, resonated within her, both practically and perhaps otherwise. Their cause, an echo of order amongst chaos, whispered promises of stability amid the coming storm. Dumas pondered her place within these shifting alliances, her mind a battleground of ideals and loyalties. Meanwhile, in the opulent halls of Les Salons de la Selle, Corporal Luciano Bianchi found himself swept into a world of intrigue and elegance. The art of conversation, as delicate as a finely honed blade, would hope to become his ally. Amidst whispering secrets and masked intentions, Bianchi navigated the social currents, his path possibly converging with that of the looming figure of l'Emperor Aileron Stornhelm himself. Aileron? Anyway. Unbeknownst to the village, these individuals stood at the crossroads of fate, their destinies entwined in the intricate tapestry of war and politic. The calm before the storm held them in its fleeting embrace, blissfully unaware of the chaos that would soon descend. To the village we go. And, with Diego far and away in distant wood, we look to the morning of the MacNeil house, as Gerard is serving you yet again your morning supper, and gives you a gentle reminder that Sir Reginald Thorne of your household is due to arrive today.
Is it known when?
Sometime this morning. His ship should be pulling in before noon.
Very good, Gerard. Then please set a table for my kin and bring out the wine and the cheese.
That's your order, sir.
Will he be staying with us?
I believe that's upon you, sir. He is a knight of your household. Whether he would be appropriate to house him here, he's of appropriate title.
No, prepare the guest room then as well.
Very well. My lord?
Well, do we have any sort of newspapers around?
Yes, we get the copies of the Shining Light, as well as some of the... We're starting to get some of the more... Almanian
Yes.
papers as well.
Well,
Perhaps
bring
if
them
we're-
over. What we have, I'd like to read over some.
Very well, sir. Would you like to work on your galleon or work on your Almanian, sir?
I already know galleons, so might as well try with the Aluminian.
Very well, sir. He goes to fetch you some printed some early prints of not early prints, but some prints of a few smaller papers out of Almania.
Well, I'd like to spend the morning while waiting for my kin, reading through them, seeing if I can actually understand anything, and if I can, what does it say? Is there anything important?
Give me intelligence.
All right. Let's pull out the old character sheet. And there we go. That's an 11 total.
You find yourself at the mercies of the few bits that are translated that are in trade, but some of the more deeply the deeper Almanian words are a bit lost on you. But you can get a gist of what you're reading, because trade is something you can kind of pigeon together and figure out what different things say.
Right. Okay.
As for figuring out what you are able to read within them, the TN is higher because you don't quite understand some of the more jargon words, but you might be able to fill in the gaps on your own. It's another intelligence roll.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any particular focus in intelligence?
Nothing that would apply here, I think. Evaluation is my only focus on intelligence.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of the paper it's this and that and that and this. There's things that you don't... There's some mundaneries that you read about that don't really amount to anything that pertains to you, like someone worked on something, some such built some such, and so on. But eventually, you're actually able to find something in part of the paper discussing a recent trade deal regarding certain stones between the... pull you over to the page up here. Between the Almanians and the Almanian Empire and the... Can get the name right here. Not Vinlander. The Vitlu. So there's some precious gems that the Vitluians merchant ships have found abroad and have brought to their shores, and now they're trying to sell their stones into Almania, and hopefully using Almania to sell these off further on to the Ascamans or to the Wislani, because really trade with these more hill folk and forest folk, they're a little more, shall we say, traditional and folksy, if we're being polite, if we're being direct, barbarians. But
Right.
But the Almanians have a dialogue, which the Vitluians can try to trade that way. And the gems, from what you can tell, the specifics of the particular deal are lost on you, but you do recognize that some of the stones and their precious stones they're talking about are from quite far away lands to the Far East, and to even some that are supposedly found in Vinland, but you've never been, so you're not sure. But you've heard rumors that such stones could also be found in Vinland.
Right, so the gems are from not ! India.
Yes.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I'll just sift through the papers and make it a morning ritual, sip my tea and eat some biscuits and await whatever comes.
In time, a thickly bearded individual, balding hair, stout man. You can even hear some of the creaking of metal under that is beneath his jacket. The shift of his honest to god sword at his belt, with a pistol on the other side that seems a bit old fashioned, but it is it is the current year. Not any soldier worth their salt has some sort of black powder weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But Sir Reginald Thorne is of the... even though he is your younger, he is raised in that old Tin Islander fashion of maintaining the traditions of the mainland. Mainland to Tin Islanders being the Great Tin Isle, not the continent. The continent is the continent, the mainland of Tin Islanders, Tin Isle, is the Tin Isle itself.
Right. He is approaching my hut.
Yeah, Gerard informs you that he is waiting outside. You kind of see him walking up the road to your house. You have a good view of seeing the street.
Well, I shall open the door for him and spread my arms in welcome. Sir Thorne, how lovely to see you again.
Lord McNeil. He gives you he reaches out, gives you a cordial pat on the back and a light hug. You can feel underneath it. You can feel the chainmail kind of pressing against you briefly.
Oh my, aren't you hot under all that?
Well, I have my duties, and with the amount of knavery that happens in Gallia, one cannot be too careful.
Oh, knavery. Please come in, take a seat, and unwind. I'm sure you've had a long road.
Well, thankfully, I was on a proper Tin Islander ship, not one of those fancy Vinlander ones. So, it was a comfy ride, though a long one.
Please, Jared, bring the man some tea. Will you take tea or something else?
Well, it's a bit early for brandy, so I think I'll suffer tea. He smirks.
They have a wonderful wine here in Gallia, which you can drink for breakfast as well.
Oh, you have to be kidding. Let me guess, it's that stuff you grow outside, my lord.
Gerard, please, 2 cups for us.
Thorne just kind of frowns a little bit, like, oh no. But he's making a face of like, oh, no, I'm not going to say no to a lord, an earl, to refuse his wine. Maybe it's good. Sort of look.
Please, Sir Thorne, sit down. Tell me about your journey.
Oh, I've been from Strathcliff to 10 Isles to all the various holdings, getting an update for you, my lord, and thank you, Gerard. And, sips at it. Well, that's not actually all that bad. Huh. Oh, sorry.
So what news do you bring from my homeland, then?
Well, Lord, I'm sure you are you've been read into the workings of court and the High King's intentions. Yes?
To an extent, yes.
Well, it is... Kind of glances at the window and he looks about the room. You can tell he's looking for eavesdroppers. Though at the moment, any eavesdroppers that would be here would be seen by people. This is a very busy town with a lot of soldiers milling around. Someone standing still near the nobleman's house is a way for the guard or the militia to come grabbing you by the scruff really quick.
We are conversing in Tin Islander, yes?
He would be, yeah.
Okay, then I'll reassure him. Trust me, no one in this blasted village speaks our language, so much of a sniff of it. We are alone.
As you say, my lord. But all the same, in case someone's more educated, he kind of leans forward and hushes his tones a bit when he's speaking with you. He doesn't literally lean right up on you, but he does make some effort to make it a little harder for an eavesdropper to listen in.
Sure, okay.
Well, my lord, it would seem that various other lords are coming to an agreement with
Are
the
they?
Continental plan, you see.
Are they now?
Mm-hmm. The Common House was having its say, but the lords understand the opportunities that may come of this.
Have the Isles begun mobilizing then?
I have not seen it myself, but I've noticed that the fortunes and salons of the Isles are less extravagant, and a lot more ships seem to be coming to port. So although no one's saying such, and there's no declaration by the High King, he shrugs.
And what about Strathcliffe?
That is to you, sir. That's why I come for you for direction. The proxy in your in court has done what they can, and I've done what I can to leave us with many options. Since I know that you have made if I shall say so, my lord, a commendable effort to assimilate into Galatian society to some degree.
Please, Mr. Sir Thorn, you need not be afraid to speak plainly with me. We are, in fact, now on neutral ground. Be as blunt as you wish. I will be able to take it.
Well, my lord, frankly, I think it's a waste of talent. A diplomat of your care should be in the courts of emperors and chieftains, not with these rabble and churchlings.
This rabble and churchlings is where I have decided to take my retirement. Is a man not entitled to his retirement? Have I not worked hard enough all these years to maintain the peace between our nations?
And Saint Solar could have become a seamstress, my lord.
So she could, but I grow wine, not seeming.
We may be growing black powder yet. He sips at his
Well,
wine.
the situation as it appears right now, Sir Thorn, is combustible to say the least. I don't suppose you've heard any news from Alemania on your travels?
I've heard some. But they have kept their lips closed to me as much as possible. The few sailors I've come across have said the same thing. I could read it in any paper. They're very happy that the wars are over. Albania is going to have a new emperor and prince, imperial consort, so on and so on. Long live the empire. Waves his hand. All that sort of drivel.
It may just it may just so be that the Emperor arriving here is a symbol of bad things to come. Or so I have found out in my recent investigations here. I need assurances. I need assurances from the Tin Isles that whatever conflict shall appear in the future between possible parties, that the Tin Isles will remain a neutral policy. Should they do so, they will in fact emerge victorious out of the entire, continent, so to speak. But they must not get involved.
You think this this marriage is a ruse, then?
It's a watchful peace at best. And people are looking for to exploit every given opportunity to ruin it. The kids here are eager for blood. They thirst for it, in fact. Military academy this, military academy that, a marshal's baton, perhaps. They all want to see the blood of their enemies spilled. It's just, who is the enemy these days?
Well, the High King, young as he is bang. His Majesty is thirsty for the glories of his grandfathers. So, it will be something.
His Majesty will listen to the House of Lords, won't he?
Well, some would see to their advancement from their king than their brothers, or the common sense of the house's lords in common.
Sir Thorn, remind me, what allies have I amongst the other islands?
Well, since your departure, I would say to you that they are give me a roll of communication, and we'll see. And if you succeed at the roll, this will kind of be like reflecting back on how well you've dealt with your fellow lords. If you succeed at the roll, you'll get your success dice, and that'll tell me how many people you've ingratiated to you.
Okay, any focuses? Etiquette, perhaps?
Etiquette could work, yeah.
Was Roll20 lagging for you guys as well?
Not yet. Give it time.
I'm having horrible delay. But yeah, there you go. A total of 19 and 4 stun points.
Delay, eh? I hear hacking. No. I mean, if you're gonna doctor the dice, make it a 21. No.
Hell, if I could. Hell, I ain't that good at JavaScript.
19 should well do it enough, I think. There's not much higher than that. Yeah, you don't have the king's favor, I know that much.
Anything I can spend the stun points in?
Sure. Social stunts, exploration stunts.
Social stunts, let's see. None of these actually appeal to me anyway. Can I pass on a hidden message to him while I'm asking him about my allies? It's like, I'm asking him pretty much, if the High King decides that he wants to go to war, who can I rally in rebellion against the High King?
Oh.
That's 2 points, and let's see, what does the difficulty say? Well, yeah, Gerard can try to decipher it if he wants to with a communication and empathy test with a target number equal to or greater to my successful roll.
His empathy's decent, but Gerard seems ignorant of what you guys are talking about. He doesn't catch on.
Okay. But yeah, I pass on this message to him. And that's about it. I'm gonna let the other ones fizzle out.
Well, there's a few I can think of. There is my relation house through Lady Alara Blackthorn, Lord Cedric, Lady Thistledown, and Lord Stormbringer. I think would all be amenable to your politic, my lord.
Good. I shall write to them immediately. I know you've just arrived, Sir Thorn, but I must ask you, when are you due back to the Tin Isles?
Well, I wait at your command, my lord, and your instruction. So
I shall have several tasks for you. I shall assemble several letters for these, for these sirs. GM, I'm trying to think. For Lady Elara, for Lord Cedric, Lady Seraphina, and Lord Thaddeus. And I would have you deliver them, if you would be so kind. A royal envoy such as yourself carries much meaning.
I'm glad some still think so, my lord.
And another thing is that I require you to speak to my kin, my younger brother, whom I have left in command of Strathcliffe.
He sends his regards, by the way.
Oh yes, when he's lucid, I presume. In any case...
Not for me to say, my lord.
In any case, I shall require you to give a message to him. I know not when I'll be able to visit again, but I shall have to, for the time being, assume direct control via proxy. which is him. I shall relay my orders to him via letters. He is to be informed that control must be relinquished back to me, in fullness. He is still the, how do you say it? The man in charge over there, considering I'm not over there. But he will heed my calls and my orders.
This is a fine game you're playing, my lord. But a game we're not allowed to step away from, much as I would love to let you enjoy your retirement.
Sir Reginald, if war is indeed coming, I would have the Tin Isles rather take no part of it, but gather all the spoils of it, if you understand what I mean.
Oh, I
and
do.
If the Tin Isles do get involved, a lot of people will die for unnecessary reasons. Whatever the High King may think, the best course of action is for the Tin Isles to remain in peace.
My lord, may I advise you something you may already know?
Speak freely.
This may be seen as a challenge to His Majesty's, well, Majesty. This may be may see you as a friend of constitutional order, shall we say. Gerard kind of gives Thorn a look, but he's not noble, but he holds back. Like, he wants to say something, but the social standing keeps him from saying anything.
Let me be clear, Sir Thorn. I am not a pretender to His Majesty's throne, nor do I pretend to be one. Nor do I wish to challenge His Majesty's authority by even deigning to pretend I wish to instill a constitutional order in our great Tin Isles. If you understand, Sir Thorn.
Convincing our fellow monarchists of that will be a challenge, if nothing else, my lord.
The fellow lords and ladies, as much as everyone else, hates losing resources. War is a great loss of resources, I'm afraid. And if you threaten to take away a lord's money, suddenly his or her ears become perked up. Wouldn't you agree?
I would, but we need someone to focus His Majesty's ire upon. If not the glories of war, then the failings of someone else.
There will come a time for this, as well. I must have a chat with the other lords first, via letters, which I hope you will deliver.
Well, I will see what this town has to offer and allow you to work, my lord.
Sir Thorn, you are welcome to stay in my house and lodge for as long as you may wish. However, I will write these letters to you, and it is imperative that the lords and my brother get them on the Tin Isles. So you are welcome to stay, but swiftness is of the essence.
All right, my lord. Do you expect to be done by tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, yes.
Okay.
You are also welcome to attend the arrival of the Emperor with me as an honored guest if you wish. However, I must ask that you mind your manners around the Emperor.
Oh, of course. I don't plan to anger that artillerist any more than I have to. Jumped up as he is.
This is exactly what I mean, Sir Thorn.
He shrugs. As you say, my lord.
Please, while you are in my company, take off that blasted chainmail.
Is that an order, my lord? He looks very uncomfortable.
Would you be more comfortable in your chainmail, Sir Thorn?
Very much so, until I know this tension is gone.
Then keep it on. But mind you, if Gerard here finds any chain links in the bedding, he will be a very irate man. And he is. You do not want to see him when he's irate.
Indeed. Says Gerard with a cold stare. Sir Thorn just kind of gives him a look, and then Gerard just stares at him back, and Sir Thorn just kind of shuffles in his chair a little bit and just pays attention to McNeil.
I'll like laugh. Oh, funny, Gerard. Always funny. Yes, feel free to explore the town at your own leisure. If you wish to see the Emperor, come and see me. You shall come as my honored guest.
Very good, my lord. From this, I will ask of you, I believe you have 4 communication roles you need to get me, and then we'll move on to, I believe, Dumas next to my firing line.
5 actually, because all the lords and my bro.
Oh, yes, you're right, yes.
Unless my brother wants to just comply with my wishes, which would make a lot of, which would help me out a lot.
No, you'll have to convince him to make sure he actually, like, stays lucid instead of like, no, this isn't important. I can do it later. No, do it now, idiot. By the time this letter gets to you, it'll have been weeks, if not months, you jerk. Just get it done.
Etiquette or leadership, which would actually help me.
Etiquette with the lords would be leadership with your own kin, because you are outranking him.
Okay, here's 4 etiquette rolls then.
It is
1, 2, 3. Lagging, hacking. Click one more time.
It'll go through. It just takes time for it to process.
And I'll do 1 leadership as well then. I'll click that, so hopefully it does it.
So we had 5 rolls to adjudicate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So yep. 14? Is 14 enough, friend? Let's find out. It's high for most things. Yeah, no, that'll be enough. They're not that. Yep. So 2 and 2 is 4. 4 and 4 is 8. 8 and 4 is 12. 12 and 5 is 17.
Decent amount of successes.
You may write this in your notes. You have an average level of support in the House of Lords.
Okie dokie.
So, at present, you'll have to wait till you have another letter writing session where you have to wait for them to reply, so they can update you on what they're all doing and what happened with them. But to help with bookkeeping, you will overall get an average. You'll have at current you had no influence because you've been in Gallia this whole time and you haven't really been plugged in. That's why Thorn's here. He's like, I'm trying to let you know what's going on to see if you even want to get involved or if you care. You probably should though. It's like, okay, I do care. Here's my influence from across the glimmering sea.
Well, next up we have to influence the House of Commons. That's gonna be a challenge. All right.
We look to the House of Dumas with the Dame Sophie Rousseau of the Church Guard in residence.
All right.
Good morning, Dumas, she says over breakfast table.
It looks to be one.
You've had a busy few nights. Expect to have more? If you don't mind me prying, he shrugs.
Not if I want to live to tell about it.
Yeah, you look, forgive me for saying so, you do look quite battered. I didn't realize patrols were quite so arduous. I mean, last time I saw you this battered was when we fought last. Even then, I don't think you were quite that battered. Is everything all right?
Well, to ensure that you don't fail on the field of battle, it is always best to push training to its most reasonable maximum.
Didn't realize the Lysel militia trained so hard. Or is that just you?
Ambitious young officers who want to serve in the regular army do. Whether or not the Lysel militia does, I have yet to fully ascertain.
You expect to get into the regular military in this day and age? I mean, the Emperor's conquests seem to be over now. Save the marriage, but, you know, that's a conquest of another sort. Or unless she's conquesting him, but I doubt that's very popular in Gallia as a whole. But as the saint says, the men and women are meant to conquer one another.
I have no insights into the marital relations between the emperor and his wife. But there is always going to be drunken, useless fools who were never able to become captains, and they will always need replacing. One just need bide their time. And perhaps a war will start, and the same lieutenant will get removed from the army without its intervention by the grace of the Alemanians. And I will still be here, ready to take their place.
You know, with conviction like yours, you could have made quite the ascension in the church guard.
Alas, the church requires very particular opinions on Saint Solara.
Well, yes. The correct ones. But she raises her cup and sips at it.
Sure. Correct if one had some goblins and gnomes to eradicate. I don't think they are, though. For I have not seen, heard, or met anyone, or even read of anyone, who has had a problem with goblins anytime recently.
One must be aware of literalisms in the in the various tales of the Saint Solara. It is sometimes the text describes not monsters but men who fail their holy cause.
Then how unfortunate the church must be to be so dogmatic about something which is uncertain.
If we are without our dogmas enshrined in holy grace, then what are we to believe in?
It would be good to figure that out.
Oh, you're not going to go Almanian reformist on me, are you?
There will be no nailing of pamphlets to my door this day.
I certainly hope not. So what are your plans for the day?
That is a good question.
You can go by for confessions, lighten your soul with the Father of the Church.
Ooh. Perhaps before doing that, I should go to the Gilded Griffin and find something that I might need to confess about later.
Well, just take care not to blaspheme too much. I know it's not against the new laws of Elrond, but or his code, but I'd take it as a personal favor if you would.
Well, no promises.
In fact, if you like, I could come with you to help you moderate your hungers, if nothing else, to get out of this house for a bit. It's a fine house, but it's no church.
Very well. First to the market, then perhaps to the blacksmith for I've yet to meet him. And then, generally about town. Unless, that is, of course, shortly after leaving, a young corporal shows up to tell me that McNeil has decided to impress the captain with a drill today or something.
Oh, I heard that they're all busy off near the Stornhelm house.
Then I will depart with the Dom.
Where do you head first? The market square, you say?
Yeah, I have things to buy for a feast for Salon, and I guess it's the actual mechanics don't require you to do anything other than sleep, but I still feel like I should refrain from arduous activity.
Yeah, simple walking and shopping won't tax you. Won't tax you enough to rob you of your rest anyway. You see a busy and bustling market, even this early in the day, as they now have a bunch of soldiers who come in. A few ships have come in, some to disgorge the various people who want to witness this historic moment. So there are... Lysel is a bustling town of trade at the moment. Are you in uniform, or are you in your regular clothing?
That's a great place to start, I would think. I have a uniform I spent quite a bit of money on. But I don't have particularly auspicious clothes. So perhaps there is someone... I will be in a traveler's garb, not in uniform, because I don't have any duties today and I do not wish to be bothered with them. But perhaps I will look for much more spectacular clothes.
Although you don't draw a special attention, aside from people who know you personally, like they've encountered you before, and it's like, oh, hi, you know, they'll say hello because you've lived here for a little bit, so they're familiar with your face. Especially those who you would have seen, people who run some of the stalls, like the people who own them might wave at you and then continue on with what they're doing, because they know you're just shopping and they're busy. But a lot of attention gets drawn to the Dame Rousseau, as she is... Well, she is still in church garb, and she has all the vestments of her knighthood. Even though she is... no, she still has her sword, yeah? You don't have it?
No.
Yeah, you still have her sword.
I still have it. Yes.
Yeah, so even though without sword, she has a rather imposing figure that the more faithful of the village kind of make the gesture of the setting sun to her, and she returns it back and then just carries on, doing her best not to get drawn into any sort of gaggles of faithful or anything like that. Just being polite and saying, you know, very much a yes, I am of the church. Yes, I am shopping. I am doing something. Please don't bother me. So even though they probably don't know her by name, they do know her by her vestments, and that kind of attracts religious attention. And you notice a few dour looks from more revolutionary sorts who don't appreciate a churchling, as it were, parading around her power. But they're not going to do anything with this many guards, with this many faithful around. That's how a market brawl starts. And with as many soldiers that are in the garrison right now, not a great idea.
Yeah.
But people in red hats and red armbands kind of do give her looks and give you a look as well. But they know that, well, they may or may not know, but you're in her company, so it's one of those But they don't bother you otherwise, other than assaulting you with their eyes, as it were.
Which I blame on not having anything great to wear.
Geez, I know I'm dressed badly, but you don't need to give me such a look. Perfectly serviceable clothes, darn it. So you're helping yourself to some clothes?
Yeah. What would you price? Something modern, right? Maybe more towards the taste of revolutionaries than, or the bourgeois than the church. And of a great quality.
I'd say about. I'd say double the listing price would cover nice clothing of that regard. The boots would be 10 silver, not 5, etc.
Okay. You're gonna make me get out a calculator.
What, the revolution didn't teach you math? Well, the academy did, but you know. Or your parents, actually, more like. Tutors and what.
Ah, yes, I became very good at subtraction. Subtracting heads from bodies.
Okay, well, I know I had more than enough number. I'll add it up in a minute
Yeah.
while you're focused on somebody else. It's gonna be somewhere around 100 silver, I think. Maybe less.
You can give me a communication roll as you're talking with people, because there's two ways you can go about this. You can either try to use communication to perhaps get a discount on the price to some degree, or you can use it to kind of make sure you're shopping from certain people, so that way you're favoring revolutionary shops or bourgeois shops in particular, rather than whoever happens to have the clothes you're looking for.
Is this a persuasion, or just would it fall under something else?
Let's double check. I think there's something else that does this, but I don't want to cheat you out of persuasion if it's the one that makes the most sense. Ability focuses. Communication. It'd be bargaining if you're trying to get the price down, that's for sure. Persuasion if you're trying to get that particular shop owner to kind of think of you more favorably. Like you're trying to make sure that they know that I'm supporting your shop for a reason and not just by happenstance.
Okay, so then that would bring in the relevant rep from whoever this shop owner is.
Yep.
Well, I understand that I'm close to. I'm leaning towards aligning with the monarchists, but it could be the revolutionaries. But either way, I want to be on decent terms with the middle classes, even if I don't support them directly. So I will favor the bourgeois store.
Okay.
Also, because I feel like they're more likely to have what I'm looking for than a revolutionary store.
Very good. Give me your roll.
+1 on this. 18.
Yeah. You very quickly find yourself in the company of various other shop owners who are the well-to-do and well-heeled of commerce here in Lysel and a bit beyond, like the bourgeois, for example, and you are able to find all the things you're looking for, and they try to give you some tips on on coloration to be more fashionable and trendy. So you and also they do also try to convince you of colors that are in the more well-to-do but still by etiquette, as it were, somewhat neutral in the great game. That is to say, they're trying to make you in more bourgeois colors rather than monarchical colors or church colors, things like that. It's little subtle things that some people may not care about, but bourgeois kind of care about that sort of thing. They're
That
really
suits
particular
me.
about that. You have a rep of favors. For all I say it, I cannot spell it. You favors bourgeois shop stalls, which will give you plus on the bourgeois, and negative common. So, because you're not really, they notice that you're the sort who doesn't shop at their perhaps you're too good for us sort of attitude, but no, you're just, well, frankly, you may perhaps are, but
I think I am.
so the average common folk might kind of be like, oh, you're just a bit bourgeois. I was like, well, I am, because I am. Okay, well, you don't have to say it like that, but it doesn't affect your relations with other more prominent factions, because bourgeois don't specifically are a somewhat one of the two neutral-esque factions, if you will. As neutral as they try to be, anyway. You find some decent clothes. For certain. And actually, a question of you. In her common dress, is Dumas a lady who dresses in trousers or in skirts? Because in the militia, you'd be wearing pants because that's practical. Wear your pants, wear your boots. Why? Because you're in a muddy field? No. We're not Tin Islanders in our kilts. We don't do that.
The kilt is for better airflow.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about, someone brave enough to stand against the guard in their bearskin caps and their bright uniforms, but it's a little shocking to stand against these men out on the field with bare thighs and skirt and plaid skirts and funny accents.
Of course. It's because of the size of our bollocks.
Who knows?
Anything else you get in Market Square or intend to get in Market Square?
Then I would say pants and the like.
Pants and the like?
Which is a whole lot cheaper. I'm about to save a bunch of money because you asked that question. I need to go and get good quality wine and ingredients for a salon. Not like, an imperial level where I might bankrupt myself, but, more than I would normally spend.
Not outside your station, but a special occasion sort of thing.
Yeah.
also calculating for you here. Hello, computer? There we go. Oh. And about 90 to 100 silver, all told. Should do it. Because I'll add to your existing stores, and that will give you a wide variety of things you can do. This will include like nice wine, fine wine.
You said
teas.
100?
90 to 100 silver, yeah.
I mean, you're the GM. You told me.
Depends how much you're willing to spend.
Then I'll spend 100.
If you really want to be talk of town, to give them like, you know, if they want to stay the night or have some like nightly games to play, not that way, but like, you know, part of their games, and fun things to do, like an entertainment of some kind, not like a grand orchestra, but like a violinist, you know, or someone who plays pipes, you know, something. That would be 5 gold on top of that. So another 50.
Oh, 5 gold is
50 silver.
50 silver. Oh, I can do that. I was thinking 500. So I was like, no.
Yeah, the extra 5 gold will cover other entertainments like nice cards, nice, you know, get someone hired to play a song or two, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll do that. Because, yeah, this is a salon with the bourgeois. I'm not expecting to spend all hours of the night debating, you know, the course of the revolution or, you know, how to restore Saint Solara's faith or something. Like, we're not debating. This is not an intellectual group.
Sorry, the faint dig at bourgeois. They're not exactly an intellectual group.
Yes, they like to enjoy the fruits of their trading and their monetary acumen by indulging in cheeses and wines. So. I doubt they want to discuss. I guess they might want to discuss the latest prices and the goings on of trade in the continent, but I could care less.
This will give you at least a temporary bonus during your salon. You will be having you'll benefit from a +2 to any communication roll because you're the host that has a really nice setup. And you don't get any reputation with anyone in particular for this because you're playing within your means. So you're not offending monarchists, but you're also not overly showing off to the. You're not beyond your station, but you're not impressing the bourgeois. But you are, for a little while, hoping to generate something from this. But yeah. You have a nice shopping trip. Lots of stuff will be delivered to your house because the amount of stuff you bought, it will weigh. Like you're gonna need somebody to go deliver it to your servant at the house.
Yeah, I'm sure with the prices paid that the merchant can render those services.
Yeah, they don't mind at all. Gives young people something to do, right?
I'm nothing if not a great employer of the local youth. I'd fill the rest of the day with going to other traders around town, the docks, the blacksmith, and such. Not with the purpose of doing anything at those places, but with the purpose of seeing. I have come to understand that pushing Rousseau towards a revolutionary mindset is nigh impossible. But perhaps she can be pushed to a militarist's standpoint, a point of the change has happened. Let us embrace what's happened and say no further, kind of.
You can attempt a communication roll as you give her the tour of the town and try to instill a bit of constitutional order into her.
Is that persuasion?
I would say so, yeah.
Do I get the +1 I have for the church, or do I not? Because I'm trying to.
Well, she's a monarchist anyway.
Oh, I thought she was pro-church.
She's a servant of the church, but a defender of the crown.
Oh, then I went from. Okay, then this might be harder than I thought.
Well, constitutional order is the monarchical to revolutionary is a massive jump. Constitutional order kind of still says, oh, the crown can still exist, just with more rules. Like, okay, you might be able to sell me on that. The TN for that is a lot lower than, say, trying to make her revolutionary. You will benefit from no stump points on that roll. You do have 2 action points, I'll remind. And after this, I'll be rolling over to our colonel, corporal.
No.
I'll take the promotion.
By force.
Over
Sure, why
my
not?
dead body.
I don't particularly have use for her as an ally if she's a monarchist, but I'll give this one and only one action point in case she might become a more useful ally.
She's the sort of person who is a monarchist but has such good rep with the church that they don't mind that she's a monarchist. Like, yeah, no, that's fine. You favor the crown over the church. It's like, yes, but I'm a servant. That's not better.
Oh, how that works?
Wait, what? That's not how math works. What happened? That's 14 there, dice roller. +1 is 15, +2 is 17. What are you talking about?
I don't know what's going on there.
That was weird.
Yeah, I'm telling you, roll 27, a mental break.
Because like a 3's not even possible. Even if I rolled all ones, I would get a 6.
So 14, 15, 16, 17. Do you have any penalties for monarchists?
That is a question. I do have one.
One penalty?
Yes.
For an action point, you could add +2 to the roll.
Can I ask if providing her shelter and treating her reasonably, even though she's a defeated enemy, might push this over the edge? Or
she's under your parole. She's house arrested essentially, so she's getting what's her due, really.
Repatriating some books from the church might help.
Oh, if you're saying you're gonna return some books back to the church?
Yeah.
How many books? How?
3.
What are these books?
Book on trade tongue, a book on teaching the Gallian language, and a book on the Proverbs of Saint Solara.
That'll push you over. That last one definitely did it. The other 2 are like, those are nice to have books. That last one, that's a very important book. They'll nudge you that little bit more.
Yeah, I'll delete those and say that later today I'll have a servant take them back over to the church.
You have reputation challenger to crown absolutism. penalty to monarchs and bonus to militarists, because you've now, if nothing else, during your talks, it will be. This isn't exactly being said in quiet corners, and you're kind of trying to talk her around. If nothing else, Dom Rousseau will also probably reference you in later discussions. But you get the feeling that in your talks and during your walks, she is considering the militarist, though she says at the end of it all.
Well, I might do something with stoic points to go change that narration.
Oh, feel free.
In that, for 4 points, I'll do sway, which is to shift your target's attitude in an additional step in the direction of your choice, which would be towards the militarists.
Well, attitude mechanically is
okay.
Neutral, open, friendly, very friendly.
Okay. I didn't know if that translated to what we were doing.
No.
That was just.
But making her more friendly may make her more willing to push that way. Like it'll be easier. The TNs talking to her are easier later. Because right now, do we have a rep for you with her? Is she in your relationships?
No.
You can put her as friendly now. She is friendly with you, as opposed before she was open. She was willing to discuss such things with you and debate, but now she's a friend of yours. She would call herself a friend of yours, even so. Maybe not a friend of constitutional order, but for now she's a friend of yours, and that's one step in a direction, perhaps. And if you become a friend of the constitutional order, then well, one does not rush to make enemies of one's friends. Anything else you wish to spend your stunts upon? Now I think that took what? So it would be 4, so you'd have 2 left.
I have 1 left.
That's how math works, yes.
I guess read the situation makes the most sense. Unless they're trying to hide their feelings, you can tell what they are. Each SP spent tells you the attitude of one person in the vicinity, and unless they are actively trying to hide it from you. I don't even know what I'd do with that, because you just told me what her attitude towards me and the militarist is, and that was the whole topic of conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Yeah. And you're about to switch and counter, so Impress isn't going to do anything. So if there's nothing to say with reading the situation, then I think it just goes away.
Very good. Away to the Stormhelm household. Where Luciana Bianchi has been invited that morning to the Stormhelm house, to the company of the officer of the crown, Riverwind.
And I'll enter and so Riverwind.
Monsieur Bianchi, a good morning to you.
To you as well.
I hope I'm not interrupting. You're not too disappointed with being pulled away from the patrol of the woods with your superior Borgia.
I go to where I am requested, whether that is with the jazz, the line, or simple patrol around Lysel. Wherever I'm required, that is where I'll be.
Please, have a seat, You see that there's already a platter of tea set out, and he already has a cup nearest to him. He's still standing and looking out the window a bit and watching as troops mill around with some of the Stornhelm residents.
Thank you, sir. And I'll take a seat.
Give me a perception roll, seeing or empathy.
I'll just give you a perception roll.
Hmm. This is a very nice room, very nice house.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth trying to re-roll on.
Are you in uniform or are you in your personal clothes?
Generally, unless I'm in active, like doing patrols, I would be in normal clothes, which is essentially not very fancy clothes, work clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, you notice I will yeah, no. A man in work clothes managed to go upstairs into a private study in the Stornhelm house, and you see nothing strange in this. Uh, um, but Riverwind, do you take any of the tea, or what do you do when he invites you to sit?
I sit, and if he's offering tea, I would certainly take a cup.
It seems quite good, freshly brewed. They must have brewed it a little before you came in, or had it brewing, expecting you to come at this time.
This is very nice. It's a lot of the tea around here has been of a lower quality.
Well, some herbal teas. He comes back and sips. Finally, actually sits down and sips at his tea. The common herbal teas do have their benefits, I find, but one can treat oneself once in a while, I find, and not be considered showing off.
Of course.
So, Mr. Bianchi, you tell me a bit about your father. What your household was like before you came in the service of Lysel.
Ah, unfortunately, I did not know my father.
Oh,
I grew up in a no name or a no importance mining town on the border of Castrum and Gallia. And unfortunately, that's when my mother also passed when I was young. So essentially, I worked, well, not directly in the mines, but moving things, uh, moving coal, until I eventually uh, got the opportunity to leave and try and make a better life for myself.
and that's what brought you to Lumerburg.
Correct.
How did you ever get into the academy? You are of the under the grace of your king, but I understand that entering the academy is not the easiest thing to do from someone so far away. Were you sponsored perhaps by this the Earl of Strathcliffe?
No, I met Cormac whilst I was at Lumerburg with both Isabel and Diego. Um, Essentially, my great opportunity to come to Lumerburg came from me doing local jobs, using my assets to impress those of higher rank, and eventually I was sponsored by a local noble. So I'm grateful to him, but yes,
Oh, so you're not beholden to the Borgias or the Dumas then?
no, I know them from my time at the academy. That's all.
Ah. You seem to be quite fast friends with them. You must have impressed them muchly in your time in the academy.
I don't know whether I impressed them or not. Their opinions are their own, but I found that they their op- their views and opinions on a custom man at the academy were not as the others. They were more accepting.
Hmm. Well, I hope they're quite accepting of what I hope to ask of you. And remind me again, Bianchi, is your character, what's your rep with Lysel, with Salon de Lysel?
It's only a +1.
Plus one. I wish to ask of you, or invite you, to escort the Elrond the Elder, or the Stormhelm Elder, I should say, but he is intending to visit this a salon being held by Dumas, and I was hoping that you could keep him safe and perhaps share a bit of common wisdom about the wisdom of our Emperor's acumen and intentions for Gallia, if not the continent.
Certainly can. I see no issues with this.
And if you could convince your friend Dumas of the same, or at least get a gauge of how she feels about our Emperor, then I would appreciate that as well. And if she should support you, I would, and certain members of the Salon de la Selle may show favor as well. No disfavor, everyone's to their own, but I see an opportunity here for you, Monsieur Bianchi, and I don't want you to miss out simply because you're in work clothes, shall we say. Man of Castrum should still see himself elevated, should he brave himself enough.
I do appreciate that. I certainly can see where they sit, and if possible, talk to them about certain interests. I see no issue with that.
Good, good. I'll have someone along before night's end to give you some measurements and get you some clothes appropriate for the occasion. Unless you wish to be in uniform because you'll be in the company of some of the bourgeois, frankly, and they may take you a bit more seriously if you are dressed for the occasion.
I do not really care if that sounds bad or not. When I go somewhere or dress a certain way, it's because I choose to. Nothing more, nothing less.
If you insist upon that, then perhaps wiser still would be for you to... Do you find yourself soft of foot, Monsieur Bianchi, despite your stature?
I can be, depending on the requirements.
Then perhaps I can instead keep you in guard of the Elder Stornhelm, and instead task you with passing along my regards to the attendants, rather than ask you to impress yourself upon the bourgeois. That way you will not have to step outside your area of comfort, shall we say.
I can do both if required. It's a case of, as you can probably tell, I am not the most... I am more the hammer, not the scalpel.
A hammer can be tapped softly. It just takes care.
Of course.
There'll be times when a hammer is required, but I need to know that delicate work is something that is within your skill. If not delicate of words, then delicate of hands and feet, yes?
Of course. So you can decide which job you would prefer me to do, and I shall do it.
I think the latter if you are uncomfortable with being beyond your station.
Oh, it's not a case of being uncomfortable. It's just if I don't see the need to, I just don't. If I have a purpose, I do.
Well, what I'm saying to you, Monsieur Bianchi, and I'm trying to be as polite as possible, I do not wish to offend, but frankly, you look like you're about to step off the docks, and if I ask a dockman to ask a man of wealth to shift his opinion, he may very well laugh you out of the room, at which point your salon visit will be very unpleasant. So if you were to address them frankly, you would at least be clad in the. I would advise you to be clad in the armor of lesser bourgeois, if nothing else. But if that is of discomfort or unease to you, then it may be better to be seen in the clothes that you wear and move with the invisibility of the common man.
I suppose I could dress up. It's been a while since I've bought myself new clothes, but I certainly can see the appeal.
As I say, I have someone get your measurements, and I'll cover your clothes for the salon. I am asking you a favor, after all. I'd rather you not have to find gold for something that may only pay in silver or copper.
Very well. Like I said, I am here for whatever is required, but I shall be waiting.
Secondly, this you can determine whether or not it's possible, but I would like to know what the Earl of Strathcliffe's guest is and his intentions are. If you can learn of that, without alerting my involvement, then more favor can be seen. But I'm more concerned with you attending the salon than finding your elder friend's business. But if you can do both, then perhaps you may find yourself at this before. If you can manage to do both before the Emperor's return, then perhaps you may find yourself in a salon that doesn't mind what you wear, only what you believe.
And I certainly see no problems with talking to the man.
Be wary, Monsieur Bianchi. The Earl of Strathcliffe is a perceptive man, as you may already know, but I warn you all the same.
I do appreciate the warning. Thank you.
Good day to you, Monsieur Bianchi.
Good day, sir. Stand, make sure the teacup's in its properly placed, and head out.
The night will come on this day. I actually asked of Dumas if you wish to hold the salon early tonight or early tomorrow night, rather than on the day of the Emperor's arrival. Because that's kind of why people are asking to have a salon a little early than you intended, because once the Emperor arrives, people are going to be wanting the Stornhelm house rather than the Dumas house. His salons will be far more important than yours, which, you know.
Yeah, tonight's fine.
To wit, Bianchi, you will find yourself very quickly measured and gifted a set of clothes. When you are measured and such, they ask if you wish to be dressed in castrum colors or galleon colors. Or if you just want a nice neutral like browns and greens, something a little more understated. BRB, though. So before that, McNeil, You are
Yeah.
invited to a salon, or informed that there's a salon happening at the Dumas house tonight. And I imagine, unless Dumas specifically asked him not to come, I imagine the Earl of Strathcliffe is welcome to the resident noble is permitted to attend the salon.
Well, the resident noble would still like to employ his household to ask, because it's nice to ask, hey, am I invited?
I mean, a letter of invitation will be sent, but I'll, make sure that it's clearly stated the kind of company that will be there and the intended atmosphere in case McNeil does not wish to be there.
Let me get it straight. The company is bourgeois?
It's bourgeois and it's a night of merriment and discussion. It's not intellectual, not military, not religious, right?
Oh, good. Then we shall play musical chairs. I shall be there.
Do you try to bring Thorn along, or do you spare him the salon?
Only if Thorn wishes.
Thorn would rather not. He doesn't
Then
appreciate the Galatian fascination with salons.
Thorn may stay at home. Then I would like to ask him, though, while he's at home. Gerard has noticed here and there that there are some people skulking about the house. I'll tell him, that was about a week ago when we were doing the investigation about the Alamanians. So I'll tell him, like, can you lend your talents to Gerard here and try and scout out if anyone else is skulking around my house?
Do you want me to give them a Tin Islander welcome or a Vinlander welcome? By which he means very pointedly ask them to leave, or you don't ask, you just hit them and then make them leave.
Do not use your claymore to cut them in half, but roughing them up and perhaps presenting them later for interrogation if there truly is someone is not out of the question.
No,
But
so a
keep that
colonial
claymore-
one. All right, I can.
Yeah, keep that claymore of yours firmly by your side.
If I must. Very well, my lord. I will. It'll be nice to do a patrol of a smaller estate. Compared to your personal household, I mean.
Okay, yeah. Gerard, prepare my clothes then. I shall be going to a festivity this evening. I had heard there will be musical chairs.
Bianchi, now that you're back, the salon's happening tonight at the Dama house. The person who was measuring you wanted to know when they get your clothes if you wanted to be in castrum colors, Galatian colors, or in more neutral browns and greens.
I'd say castrum colors.
So a lot more dominant on the gold with hints of white to it. And in some of the not very intricate, but there's bits of red to indicate the dragon's blood that castrum people look for.
Like, he's not ashamed of who he is, so yeah.
And the Dame Rousseau, she can secret herself away if you don't want her to attend the salon, because she is under parole, so she's not sure if she should if her presence will disrupt your festivities. It's your house, so she's not going to force the issue. What say you, Dumas?
Is Dumas saying anything?
Dumas may be muted.
No, not muted.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were still on Cormac. What do you need?
I needed to know if Rousseau was going to be... Rousseau was wondering if she was to be attending, or if you wanted her to kind of stay in her room for a bit and stay out of the way. Because she didn't know if it would change the tenor of your visit or not.
This is my No, she can attend. You know, it's proof positive that I'm a good military officer, right? That she's here. So, trophy may be a strong word, but
Let me. Nope, wrong one. I need this one. Do I have...
and I'll send out an invitation as well to Lieutenant Safwan. If nothing else, to the food and merriment may repay him for the inconvenience of not arresting me.
He'll take you up on that for sure. That if you're like, yeah, you did kind of make my life a little more difficult. Thanks for that. See if I have anything for what I'm looking for here. I don't think I do. These are different builds. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so. A little more. No, let's go with this one. So it's more jovial. I'll expand their. We'll draw a temporary room here. What color does your house favor there, Duma?
Well, this decorated slightly before my more militarist feelings have taken on of late. So red.
The blood of angry men.
Make those a little more defined. There we go. Right track. Put it. Whoops. That's gone forever now. I have to redraw it. Try that again, shall we? There we go. Okay, don't go to the map layers. You're gonna stay behind the map if I do that. And nope. I need these little guys. Where are you? Nope. No, I said fudge and muffins. Much merriment and various folk of the bourgeois come to your salon, especially once it becomes some that even weren't intending to come. Slowly start petering in a little later once they learn that the elder Stornhelm, Safwan is coming of the Imperial Guard. McNeil is going to be there, the Earl of Strathcliffe. So it's kind of it's like, oh, this was a salon that was kind of important because it's a Dumas salon, so you might be able to miss it, but something important might happen. I don't know. I'll think about it. Oh, a bunch of other people are coming too? I really should go. I really feel like I'm missing out if I don't go, so I better go. And finally, yeah, lots of people start filtering in. And Um, of the people you see there, Dumas, you do see, whoops. You see, of the guests that you expected to come, you do one of which, of course, is Leopold Stornhelm, the father of the current emperor, a very elderly man, very gray, very wizened, and so forth, cane and all. But at his side, you find someone you didn't quite expect to be here, because he's not of that class of person. You see Luciano Bianchi at his side.
Not dressed as a corporal, I suppose.
Dressed in gold and white with hints of red, very castrum colors. Bianchi, are you armed currently? Because you are here as a bodyguard of sorts, but I don't know how armed you are.
I'd have the scimitar. That's it.
And likewise, Safwan would have their own saber at belts, just as I am an officer. So, but the Safwan actually is dressed in their military uniform.
If I was in the Imperial Guard, I would be too.
So yeah, you have yourself a busy time. Lots of food, lots of cheeses and wines and teas and all sorts of spices. I would say that to McNeil, I would say that this is probably as good as you would ever expect a middle class person to ever do, without going tastelessly trying to pretend to be noble. This isn't a noble's feast, but you know that makes sense for Dumas. This is Dumas having a special occasion, so it's actually really nice. It's probably the best. It's probably one of the better salons that Lysel has seen in a while, frankly.
Well,
aside from Leclerc, but you know he's the captain.
McNeil's gonna wonder to himself, like, when the hell did the musical chairs begin? Where are the chairs even? I don't think there will be any.
Yeah, Dumas said would be comfort and music, and didn't understand there was a Tyndale tradition of combining the two.
Tricked yet again, I suppose. Do I notice anyone of worth in the crowds here?
You see a few of the bourgeois of town, like the blacksmith, the inn owner, various market square types who sell various goods. Notably, the bourgeois, the Borgias aren't here, but that's because the elder of that house is the most elder of Borgia that's present is currently on duty, so he can't come. Stornhelm, of course, the father of the emperor's here. Lieutenant Tavian Safwan's here. Dame Sophie Rousseau is here. Yeah.
Okay. Good enough company. I'll stand by for now and watch as things develop. There may be something here. And maybe mingle around with some of the, I don't know, you describe them as blacksmiths? It just doesn't sound very appealing, does it?
Oh, the owner of the blacksmithy?
Oh yeah, well, is he a blacksmith himself, or is he just an owner?
He actually is one, yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't know if those are the kind of people I'd be exactly milling with, but you know, I can say hi, make some small chat with them, etc., etc.
Give me a communication roll as you're speaking with the blacksmith owner.
Okay, sure. Character sheet.
Get you a name for that person. Well,
Any etiquette bonus here?
etiquette can apply. Yep.
Here's a 13. That's a bad roll.
It's not half bad for what you're aiming for. For you, it's bad, but the result is actually pretty good.
For me, it's awful. It's in the lower spectrum.
You find yourself in the company of Corvin Starbearer, a Fitlulian. His family's very far from home, but they've been blacksmiths here in Lysel for generations on generations. His father, his father's father, his father's father's father, his mother's mother's, one big trading family.
Yeah, I get it, but you know what? I am dying to get his opinion on the current political situation.
You wanna know what I
So,
think?
what do you say about the politics now, Mister? What did you say your name was?
Corvin's fine. There, McNeil. No need to be too formal with me.
Well, what do you think of the current political situation?
I don't know. Couldn't quite rightly say. I mean, once upon a time, there was always the coffee house was always a buzz with young fervor and fire and what. And I don't know. These days, I think people are just getting a little too tired of all that fire and moving on to other things. New futures, new peace times, and that sort of thing. I mean, I don't mind so much. Everyone's gonna need a tool now and again, and if that tool isn't swords and shields and firearms, then hammers and plows and what are all that's needed.
Good man. That is the proper attitude that many people in Lysel, in my opinion, should be taking.
I didn't think
Don't
you a
give
man
up.
who favored the bourgeois there, McNeil.
Me? Favor anyone? Oh, no. I don't favor anyone because no one favors me, good sir.
Oh, come on. Someone must favor you. You have the nice house up the way. Well, not as
Oh,
nice as
sure.
mine, but, you have more growing space than I do.
Oh, sure. The only one who favored me was probably my mother.
Oh,
Uh,
that's, I'm not going to ask about that. So, what do you grow?
a little wine, well, a sort of grape that I picked up back in Lumerberg, which they told me it could be drunk at any time of the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which I have extensively tested, my good man.
Well, you should be careful. They say gluttony's a sin up at the church.
Oh, am I not allowed? Does the church have retirement, do you think? Do they ever go into retirement?
Well, I hear that bit where they say all things set eventually. I suppose even the church must set at some time. Some people give him a look when he says that, because that's just shy of blasphemy, but no one decides to talk to him about it. They just give him a look and carry on with their conversation. He doesn't
So do
seem
you
to
not
give
think-
a damn at all.
Do you not think, Mr. Starbearer, that even the church once in a while wants to relax with a nice glass of wine and some cheese, perhaps?
Oh, at least once a week. If not
Oh.
more.
But see, I take the church's dogma and I apply it 7 days a week.
Oh. You're not going to start singing the praises of the sun, are you?
Oh no, I think I'll get gout before I do that. Good day, Mr. Starbearer.
During all this, Demar, you kind of see that Rousseau kind of caught some of that, and she, you notice she's giving you looks, but she's decided not to just go over there. She's restrained herself, and her restraint seems to have shown other faithful in the room to kind of, it's all right, the church knight's here, she's not too mad, so we shouldn't be either. Everyone just chill.
I didn't say it was anything blasphemous.
Starbearer was, though.
Perhaps this is a opportunity to espouse the good ideals of the Friends of the Constitutional Order, because we all have to get along to avoid bloodshed again, right? And that involves some bit of restraint on everybody's part.
Including the crown? Especially the crown.
But perhaps others here, as well as I look towards McNeil.
Mm.
Give me a communication check there, Demal. Let's see how much of the crowd hears what you're saying and not hears what you're saying, listens rather than just simply hears you. Because the food is quite good. They could just be paying attention to that instead. Well,
20.
I think that does it, yeah. You've gotten quite a bit of the bourgeois in the room to be a little more constitutional, shall we say. If not militarist, but Bourgeois get a little irked about, like, oh, I don't know if I'm militarist. Constitutional, I get. Like, it's the same. Whatever. Yeah, you have some points on your side.
Things that make the most sense is either sway or pay attention. The only person here that's suspicious at all is Leopold, I think. We ruled out Rousseau a long time ago, and something tells me Corvin over here isn't exactly plotting about anything other than the cheese tray.
Please, the only thing he could be plotting is dinner.
I'll sway for now.
Who you want to sway?
Rousseau.
Okay. She moves to very friendly as you seem to, as she takes your words as a way to kind of, you know, it's the most admonishment a host of a party really could get away with without literally throwing the guy out. But she reads it as a, oh, you're trying to smooth some feathers here, and hey, maybe militarism isn't a terrible idea if it gets people to calm down a bit.
Yeah, I will excuse myself and introduce myself to the Elder Stormhelm. Oh, actually, can I use the last remaining point from that to get the attitude of Stormhelm to that conversation, unless he's hiding it?
He does not seem, I would say his attitude is not positive, I know that. I just don't know how negative it is. He's not neutral, he's standoffish to the guy. He's gonna make it an effort to ignore or avoid that guy. He won't go out of his way to antagonize him. He's not hostile to him, but he's standoffish. He's like, I don't wanna go over there. I don't wanna go where the Starbearer is. So right. Stormhelm is very actively just like, yeah, I'll just kind of go this way instead.
Then I'll walk up to them and say, Luciano, I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting your friend.
This is Sir Leopold Stormhelm. I am honored to be his garden escort tonight.
Tomorrow I'll give a slight bow and say, Sir Stormhelm, your son is always in our thoughts.
What sort of thoughts do you have, young lady?
None but of honor and glory.
Glory, pah. What do you know of glory, huh?
Surely your son is a great example of what glory can be.
My son. Bloody thirsty he is.
And what understanding of glory might you receive then?
I would see the glory of the coin. Glory to thyself. Glory to our ancestors far back. Promises made and other such things. Crowd just kind of we're gonna give Stornhelm a little more room. He can have his little tantrum. We're gonna be over here now. Yeah, let's go over here a little bit.
Yeah. He has a very good reason to avoid the noose. The rest of us don't. I ask him about the gunpowder market. What's the since you're a man knowledgeable of prices, have you had any cause to trade in gunpowder or see the price lately? As a person of military standing, I have some interest to make sure the militia is not being gouged.
Give me a communication roll.
You know. Is this persuasion?
Yep.
Is he bourgeois?
He's Lysel.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then nothing but a +2 from the party itself. 12. I'm gonna guess that's not enough.
It won't be, no.
I'll spend that stunt point to re-roll. Because I want to know. I'm interested.
17 will do it. 19.
19.
Certainly will. You have 6 stunt points. On the front of it, because you get to know this from these for your spend. Now that you're getting him to talk about business, and he loves that, you get the very distinct feeling that military glory and acumen was not a Stornhelm tradition. It very much was a bourgeois tradition. He regales you with tales, relevant and not, but eventually you're able to kind of guide him before he goes off on a rant about this or that. You're like, no, focus. I need you to focus a bit. And he does tell you, black powder, I don't like the investing in black powder too much. I mean, it's good in various ways. I mean, you have your gun, you have your gunplay and your cannon and all that silliness. But gunpowder's real use, to me, is future of transportation. I tell you, there'll be new ships, new land ships, and they'll be using black powder. Carving apart the land that our ancestors left to us, and then we can charge out to as one end of Gallia to the other and beyond.
He's suggesting some kind of cart which uses black powder as a method of combustion.
Yeah. So you get the feeling he is investing in black powder, just not for the reasons that he thinks. He does elucidate quite... I will spare you, because he would go on and on and on and not stop talking like I do, because I'm trying to have a conversation. Yeah, it is investing in black powder, but he's seeing it as a investment, a futures investment, rather than anything super close, but close enough that he'll live to see it anyway. So that's somewhat contradictory, but welcome to Leopold Stornhelm.
He actually is somewhat quite heavily invested in black powder.
He is. But not in the other... Usually if you're investing in black powder, you would bother investing in the arms and cannon and such, because that's the natural extension. But he's investing in black powder and like mining and cartography expeditions, that sort of thing. And so-called inventors and tinkerers, which...
Would manipulate be possible to try to push him into discussing whether or not to try to push him into displaying whether or not he has an extreme anger for his son and daughter-in-law.
Your outrageous or insidious manner prompts him to take rash action. You could
So
probably do that to
outrageous
him.
here, it might be like my like I may heap praise upon the emperor, right, to try to provoke a reaction from him, because he's already talked disdainfully about the emperor's glory to me.
That son of mine knows not the importance of dynasty, ancestry, legacy. These things that kept the Stornhelms here in Lysel and kept us far away with trade even in Vinland. Even the 10 Islanders know Stornhelm, all before this crown nonsense. And he would say to us that it is crown and glory and gunpowder that will see us out? No. That is not how I see it. But what do I know? I am but the elder of Stornhelm. What does my opinion matter? Some people really kind of like, ooh, and they, at least one person leaves. They're like, nope, I'd want to be in the room with this conversation.
Can I add on to that? Read the situation. I don't think he's trying to hide his feelings from me. So can I get a read on his feelings towards his son? Is it murderous? Is it hatred? Is it just disapproval?
He's almost hostile, but he's more standoffish. He doesn't really... You get the feeling that he would rather not be in the company of his son. But he wouldn't actively work against them.
Okay.
You get the feeling that even when the Emperor gets here, the Stornhelm the Elder and the Emperor Stornhelm are not going to share a breakfast table anytime soon. Short of the Imperial Guard forcing Leopold to sit, but, you know.
Well, I'll thank him for coming and say I have other guests to entertain. Perhaps he would enjoy talking to Lord McNeil. I think the Lord was planning on some kind of rearranging of the furniture in a friendly fashion.
Yes, musical chairs.
Oh, I love musical chairs. Come on, let's get these youngins to show what. And he starts coming over to help you set up such a thing. Much to the confusion of some of the some younger folk and some of the older folk. Oh no, we know this game.
Mr. Stornhelm. Sorry, I'm not familiar if you have a title or not. Do you?
Give me communication for me, would you? Etiquette?
Yeah, of course. There's a 12.
You don't have to add this. I'm just suggesting you might add it out of etiquette. You might soften the blow with saying Elder Stornhelm, because it is somewhat openly known that Stornhelm is not titled, even though his son is. He doesn't have, like, the Imperial Father or anything like that. He's just Leopold Stornhelm, or at best, Stornhelm the Elder.
Elder Stornhelm, what a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
You're that Islander.
Yes, I prefer not to be known as that Islander, but you may call me Cormac McNeil. I live in the house just over the hill there that overlooks the vineyard.
Oh, you're the would-be Vinter.
Yes, it's something of a hobby of mine. Now, you'll forgive me, Elder Stornhelm, but I couldn't help but to overhear your little conversation with my Sulu lieutenant in the militia. May I offer you a piece of advice if you would take some from an elder such as myself as well?
Elder. Ha!
How
You may be
old are you, sir?
Older than you.
How is that so?
Why, yes. Why, you were nay high where I was yay high.
I understand. However, I'm hoping that my experience with diplomats can help you, because sometimes diplomats act like children.
You've convinced me.
If I may be so bold, you do not then believe that your son is all that he touts himself to be, all respect to his Imperial Majesty, of course.
Hey, Starbear, let's have a talk over here. Where? Oh, just not here. Over here. Yeah, look. Look at the meat we have over here. Num. These two try to get Rusota back to try to get her somewhere else in the room, but she doesn't move. And they're kind of like, they're at this sort of etiquette moment of, we want to move, but we don't want to just walk away from her because we're offending her. So they're in this weird, you can see there's this little hovering left and right sort of thing where they're trying to hint to her, can we leave? No, okay, I guess we're staying. You sure?
Oh, no,
How about now? Yeah.
I'm enjoying the very great position of being an outsider in this whole business, so I can say whatever the goddamn hell I want.
My son could be much more than what he is. He's done a lot, don't get me wrong. But I think he's focused on the wrong things. Crowns and thrones are things that flitter and flutter. Ancestors know that gold and the material under our feet are the future.
And this idea you had of these wagons which move on sort of black powder, quite intriguing, may I say.
Oh, would you go away? He looks over at Bianchi. Go mingle or something. I don't think this whippersnapper is going to be any challenge to me. Shoo. I'll yell for help if I need.
Of course, sir. And I'll head away.
You realize that's the first time Swordhelm has realized you were next to him since the walk from the house. Like, he just tuned you out and was like, oh, holy crap, you're still there. What do you get up to, Bianchi, as Stornhelm shoos you away?
Well, while the old fogies are entertaining themselves, essentially I'm going to be walking around the room, meeting the different people, introducing myself, shaking hands like two-handed clasping them, rough hands, soft touch type deal. Talking kindly of Lysel, the Emperor, the people, the local militia, just ingratiating myself in with the crowd.
Communication roll.
Would you take communications leadership? The fact that I'm trying to lead them into more positive thoughts of the Emperor, considering recent conversations in the room?
Certainly.
Oh, I'm gonna spend a point to reroll that.
Okay. 14 certainly better. Do you have any bourgeois rep?
That's the middle class, isn't it?
Yes.
Also, remember that only works with persuasion.
Oh, that's right.
Or there's two of them.
Persuasion and
I think.
Intimidation.
Yeah.
You're right.
I do have one.
It's 14 enough.
So I've got 15.
It's 14 is using leadership. That's what he was pointing out. He's right. 14 is enough though, all the same. You do have 2 stun points. You're able to get people to vocalize their approval of the Emperor and of the Stornhelms in general.
I think I might spend. Ooh, I'm going to spend 2 on crowd appeal or 2 on impress.
Oops. Darn.
I think
you-
I'll go.
Okay.
Oh, go on.
Which one are you going to go for?
I think I might go impress 2.
Okay. Yeah, you've swayed some of the room with your conversation, but you get the feeling that it will take more than a single round of talks to get people to shall we say, shift from a more neutral bourgeois stance and a more salon de la selle lean. You're getting progress.
Like I said, I intend to do like a full round, so I've got a couple of groups.
Actually, you know what? Let's get 2 more rolls because there's at least 2 other gatherings in the room.
Okay, so leadership.
14's good.
So a 16 because I got the +2 from earlier.
Oh yeah, you definitely do it for sure.
Um, 4 on sway, 2 on impress.
Sway will push a particular individual in the room. So that'd be like Stornhelm, Starbearer, Safwan, or Rousseau.
I think I'll take the Elder Stormhelm.
He's open to you now.
More than just, oh, you're still there.
Yeah, neutral. Oh, you're here. Chew. Open. Okay, if you say something, I'll actually pay attention.
Yeah, so and 2 for impress, and I'll make the last roll.
Yep.
So that's a 12.
Is 12 enough? 12 will be short.
I'll spend my last action point to reroll it.
Yep.
11. Yeah, it's not gonna be enough.
So you make your rounds. You make your second group, the one around Safwan and where Damas starting to has meandered over to. You're able to get them to kind of vocalize some of their thoughts, and Safwan's presence kind of helps with that because he's Imperial Guard. So these people were already kind of Stornhelm fans to begin with, or at least Imperial fans. The ones around Rousseau are a little less impressed with your opinions on the matter. And the dumb Rousseau, on her part, says, well, Monsieur Bianchi, the crux of it is, really, when it comes down to, when it comes to our emperor, is that I would rather, much as the church has seen him crown himself, it would be more than comforting to see him pay the setting sun and venerate our saint more than he does. But who am I to order an emperor to my personal views?
Oh, yeah. There's no issue with that. People are allowed their personal views. I, myself, probably could venerate Saint Olara more. I do believe that she existed. Whether I believe or not in the religion itself is a different matter, but I'm all for those who do.
What do you believe in, Bianchi? Monsieur Bianchi. She would be polite because you're in mixed company.
He holds out his 2 hands. I believe that whatever I can do within my grasp, whatever my intentions are, that's what I believe.
So you see yourself a naturalist then?
Naturalist, you can label me however you wish, positive, negatively. My idea is I try to help whoever I can, if I can.
The Saint Solara would demand the same. For tyranny is a thing to be thrown off and struggled against. The land conquested in the sun's name. The setting sun brought to, and she begins a sermon, essentially. Dumas, you come over to the company of Lieutenant Safwan and the other bourgeois who seem to be impressed with his military swagger, although he's not swanning about quite so much. It's just more of I'm here, I'm eating, I'm chatting with people, I'm making myself known so people know I'm here, sort of thing.
I'll throw him open-ended softball comments and remarks that allow him to expand upon his heroic military service, because I'm interested to know where he served and if he served during the revolution, but also helping him out a little bit.
Communication roll.
Communication, what?
Communication, your face. Animal handling, no.
I see someone found the good line.
Seduction, no.
Hey, I mean...
something like etiquette,
Okay.
Leadership might come into it because you're kind of trying to inspire them to speak more about themselves, that sort of thing.
Then an 11. Not 11, and 10.
Safon will tell a few commonly heard tales of the Imperial Guard, but you notice in his tellings, he never speaks about any of his personal heroics. He talks about the Guard, what they did. In the general, he would say about the Revolution that they served at the guidance of their colonel and general, and he is the inspiration for us all. But those are things you hear normally. Most soldiers say that sort of thing about him. And you get the sense that Safon hints that they may or may not have been present during some of the conquests of... Give you a map idea. So Gallia, the Queendom of Gallia originally extended to about here-ish, like this line. And then Wenelani was kind of further out this way. But under the Emperor, they pushed all the way to this range, and then that's where they could the mountain range, and then they couldn't really push any further into the core areas of the Wenelani, and that's where the last war kind of petered out because it kind of turned into this bloodbath right here, where no one could put the coalition couldn't push the Emperor out, but they couldn't really push in either without trying to do aquatic landings, and that kind of between 10 Islander ships and Vinlander ships and Almanian ships, that water fighting here is terrible. It's easy for the two sides to get to each other pretty quickly, and the Wenelani have half decent batteries as well. So if nothing else, you get the feeling that this person is knowledgeable about the war, but whether or not they were present at those particular key battles, they don't really betray that one way or the other. So unsuccessful roll. They just say stuff that probably most Imperial Guardsmen might be able to tell you. Like any one of them could probably tell you these things.
You said it was an unsuccessful roll?
Yeah. They give generalities and platitudes, but if nothing else, you do get a sense that they were, they're not pretending to be Imperial Guard, if nothing else. But you probably already knew that. What about you, Duma? You are, how did the revolution treat you?
Poorly, because it came too early for me to participate.
Hmm.
I was still at the academy when it ended. Although I did participate as much as a cadet could in securing territory that belonged to the people of the Empire.
Hmm. Well, on the plus side, you benefited from far better teachers than myself or the Emperor had. You saw people back then who really didn't understand the finer points of tactics and strategy and still stuck in more the aileronic schools of thought rather than more flexible and modern methods.
Yes, towards the end of the academy, there were several professors who had served bravely throughout the revolution. Though earlier in school, our teachers were only those who had served and could serve no longer. I think in my first year, I only had one teacher with all 4 limbs.
Some of the people around the two of you kind of look a little aghast about the bloodiness of it, and but Stefan kind of nods about it, like, well, that makes sense. War is a bloody business, but better to be taught by those who know it than those who simply write about it.
Yes, many of those that might have educated you had already shown that their lessons were hollow and empty with their lives.
Hmm. Never mind, some
But-
didn't stand with the people. He shakes his head. What a
No,
waste.
but I'm sure the guard showed them how pointless their lessons were.
Cheers to that. Raises a glass to that, and the other bourgeois kind of, sure, we'll raise to that. They're not as Lysel wasn't quite. They had their own struggle. The battles in Lumerberg are one of those things people hear about, but no one knows how wretched it was. McNeil. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Duma.
I was about to say,
Ow. Dang it.
I'll say, perhaps we may pay tribute to those great and glorious men of the guard who came before us, and I'll find the person playing the violin and have them play a rendition of. I'm sure I know the British Grenadiers have their own song. I assume the guard has something similar.
Yep.
And I'll wholeheartedly take part. I don't know if anyone other than me and Swafan will enjoy that.
Now, how do McNeil and Bianchi react to the battle song of the Imperial Guard?
Raise an eyebrow ever so slightly, but otherwise unperturbed.
Probably raises cup to it, but not spend too much time about it.
Can't find what I'm looking for quickly, so I'll resort to this. Instead of horns, think strings. But yes. The few folks in the room kind of... They raise their glasses to it, if nothing else, because it's a Galatian battle song, so some people see it as that. Stornhelm notably does not raise his glass to it. He kind of harumps that the song's being played.
But in any case, I have something to speak to. I have something to speak to Stornhelm about. Actually.
Yes. So you're with Stornhelm.
Yes, and we just ended when I asked him about his little contraption, this wagon that moves on its own with black powder. I assume he's given me the rundown of it?
Well, it's not so much that it's something I made, but there are very clever sorts here in the continent and even in the winelands. Very, 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 very inventive sorts. And if one's willing to pay the gold, one can see more gold to come.
But I assume that the Galatian government has not been, how shall I put this, welcoming to this idea then?
That's sorry a lot. Bah. They've been too busy playing with their soldiers and making loud noises rather than thinking about the future of the Empire.
May I offer you something then which I hope sincerely you will not refuse? I am an earl in the Tin Isles of a small island called Strathcliffe. And, frankly, Elder Stonehelm, what better place to test out this theory of yours than there? If you're willing, after your son is visited, I would be willing to lend you my island as your testing ground for this new technology you speak of. If you're willing, of course.
Give me a communication check.
Etiquette?
Yeah, because you're finding ways to ask him about it nicely.
18?
Well, it'll take some time to get people on their boats and out to your little island, but I know Strathcliffe. There should be plenty of things to test it on.
If you truly could speed up the transportation of goods across Strathcliffe, it is only a matter of time before I can perhaps suggest it to the House of Lords and have it implemented all across the Great Tin Isles. Because I, unlike your government, am willing to listen to your ideas.
About time somebody did.
What say you then?
I will make arrangements and with my people, and you make arrangements with yours. And we will see if we can accommodate each other.
Grand. Oh, and Elder Stornhelm, sometimes perhaps all the children need is a good lecturing.
I prefer good birch, but if you'd listen to my lectures, I'd have it.
In the Tin Isles, we use something much sharper than birches.
It raises an eyebrow.
I leave you to your evening, Elder Stornhelm. Should you wish, shall we assemble the chairs for the ritual, so to speak? Musical chairs.
Oh, yes.
Very well, then. Let us do it.
So, a game of musical chairs is being assembled. As a variety of... Although playing it to the march of the Imperial Guard is
well, that
interesting
was
challenge, but...
Well, that was
one
one like rendition, but I
Aw.
assume no, we'll have him play whatever the latest from the capital is. Some enjoyable tune.
Miss Dumont, may I ask you kindly if I may bring my manservant along? He is a very skilled musician, and he has skills with the bagpipes. For musical chairs, you see.
The bagpipes. That's the thing those the skirt wielding Ten Islanders use.
Yes, a most fascinating instrument and quite lovely.
That's not what I've heard. Perhaps in the future, Lieutenant, when you hold a gathering where there's a greater air of Ten Islander culture, we might reserve that opportunity for such an event, but I'm not sure the good Gallian wine and the good Gallian meats and cheeses or the good Gallian music would be complemented by such strong Tinlander music.
Ah, I did not realize the situation was like that. Of course, it's your soiree. We shall do as you wish then. As I'm walking away, I'll mutter to myself, maybe if they weren't so scared of the bagpipes.
My guests will thank me for this.
So does your GM. I have 2 bagpipe songs in the pipe.
I mean, honestly, Scotland the Brave is the only good thing you could play on the bagpipes. I've never heard anything other than Scotland the Brave that sounded
There
good.
are good ones. I just don't have any of them. Is the problem. I'm from the Maritimes. I know I've heard plenty of good bagpiping. It's just that's not something I have in care of Kevin McLeod, frankly. I don't think he's done all of 2 songs on the with the instrument. Like, well, I don't blame you, dude. As the chairs are being assembled and the merriment and the game of musical chairs is beginning to assemble, any other movements or asides that people try to take?
Yes. I would get 2 goblets of mulled wine, and if McNeil and Stormhelm are still speaking, or before we got to musical chairs, hand one to both, and Cormac.
Yes?
Oh, well, I was talking about McNeil and Stormhelm.
Oh, sorry.
Get away, Duma. Hey, so
Yes,
hand them
Luciano,
both,
how can I help you?
That's his name.
Yes, sir. My name is Luciano.
those
I believe you had a gentleman who came by recently. It's quite noticeable with his chainmail.
I'll raise an eyebrow. See, quite noticeable with this chainmail. Yes, what about him?
No, I'm just interested. You don't see too many people, or new people, around here, and especially those not armored and not a part of the militia. So I'm just curious.
Oh, Sir Reginald Thorne is a good member, a good friend of the family, so to speak. He and I go way back when I was, well, how did you say it, Elder Stonehelm? When I was about yay big and you were about yay big? Thereabouts. A very good family friend, so to speak. He's staying over at my place for a couple of days until he returns to the Tin Isles.
That's perfectly fine. I did not mean to pry. It's just
No, of course not. His visit is not secret. At least I didn't keep it as such.
Oh, I wasn't assuming. I was just considering we're at a salon, a soiree. If he wished to join us.
Oh, he's not one for parties. Tell me, Mr. Bianchi, do men with big swords scare you?
We've big swords?
Oh, yes. Did you not see the claymore that he has on his hip?
It's not the size of the weapon, it's how one uses it, sir.
Oh, is that what the fellows in the militia garrison say these nights?
No, as a man who wields a glaive, it's how you wield the weapon.
I should have you and Sir Thorne have a spar one day. I'm sure he could give you a run for your money, big boy.
Well, I'm free tomorrow if he's interested.
Oh, I'm afraid tomorrow he already has to depart back for the Tin Isles, but he shall return probably in the future. And I shall see to it that it is arranged.
I'm confused about what you've just agreed to.
They're showing each other their claymores, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, if you wish
McNeil's
to
playing
send
matchmaker.
someone,
I guess, right? If I don't know, if you're in the past, this might be how you approach such a conversation.
hell, if you wish to send someone to bring Sir Reginald, we could entertain the guests with a test of mighty duel.
I'll look over to the chairs me and Elder Stonehelm have placed.
Of course,
Surely,
I've
Mr.
got musical
Bianchi,
chairs.
you would not insult me and Elder Stonehelm now by refusing to participate in musical chairs.
I will correct you. Stornhelm just barked a bunch at Dumas' servants that how to do it because he didn't move a chair. Just want to clarify that.
Neither did I, but
Oh,
surely you would not sully our efforts.
Yeah, why would we do anything that required effort? What the hell?
of course not, sirs. It's more after we have enjoyed ourselves with the mulled wine and the musical chairs, we could offer them a different type of entertainment.
We'll think about that. Now, Corporal, I'm saying this to you now as your superior. Sit down in the musical chair.
I already intended to, sir. Elder, after you.
And may the best man win.
Roll for musical chairs.
Mm.
Nope. There we go. So merrily do the bourgeois mill about in their chairs, and one by one, they whittle away as they find themselves short a chair. Of my player characters, of the brave, soon-to-be heroes of the war, I want the three of you to give me a... Let's call it a dex roll.
The musical chair roll.
Hey.
Can I lose to the Elder Stormhelm?
You certainly can.
Yeah.
Because that's who I was going to eliminate. Because the difficulty to beat Stornhelm is 7. He's a very old man. He can only move so quickly.
I don't want it to seem like completely obvious, but I don't mind losing to the Elder Stormhelm.
It's like, oh no, you're taking the chair before me. Oh no.
Yeah.
How awful, no.
And even some level of allowing it, like it's not a condescending letting him, it's more of a, people kind of appreciate that sort of like, oh yeah, that's fine. And Stormhelm has a chuckle about it actually, because he knows he's too slow, but he likes playing anyway. It's a fun thing to do. Like no one's, some of the bourgeois are shoving each other a little bit to get into the chair, but no one's shoving the Elder Stormhelm. Like they may not be, they are all men and women of Lysel. They're like, we're not pushing the old man around. They will be willing to push McNeil around a little bit, but not too much, because you are older. You're not quite old like Stornhelm is, but you're older. It's not polite to shove you around. Plus, he wants to be accused of assassinating the Emperor's father, but you know. Give me another dexterity roll, please.
Okay, time to roll extremely well. Oh no.
Do I need to roll to catch the Stormhelm?
No, it's fine. Come on, Dumas. Someone must have taught you how to sit in a chair quickly. What do you mean you don't have focus in musical chairs?
I mean, I am pretty dexterous, I guess.
Yeah, Stormhelm's out.
I'll have a wine ready for him.
And you got 2 on yours and 2 on yours, so we fast forward a tiny bit more as more people get whittled away.
Can I spend 2 on the combat stunt boost?
You can, yeah.
My next test is at +2.
Oh no. We're gonna get out musical chairs.
Give me another opposed roll. After a couple quick rounds go by, the two of you are definitely still dancing about.
15.
I got a 13.
Yeah, that's enough to beat the average folk. Yeah. You two, most of you dominate quite a lot during this as a various bourgeois are not quick, nearly as quick as the 5 remaining. And now we have a proper roll off because we now have named people left. What are you gonna say? Oh, you have some points there, Duma.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend 3 on boost. Can I spend 2?
Try hard.
Can I spend 2 on skirmish to move another person? Like, when they go for the same chair, I'm able to like move them and take the chair. Or is that too? I don't want to do anything that's like violent, right?
That would be a bit fun.
Not
okay.
prone.
Well, actually,
not
I take
prone.
that back. You could shove somebody, and it is perfectly fine to be doing it among younger people. You wouldn't shove McNeil because you could get away with it, but it'd be seen as kind of rude to shove an older person around. But you could shove, Starbearer, Rousseau, or Savant. I mean, Starbearer's old, but he doesn't get the protection of elderliness. He's not old enough to have that.
All right,
particular
I'll be a little
shield.
bit competitive against Lieutenant Safwan.
During one of the rounds, you managed to find. There was one chair that was about to be lost, and then Savon, you just kind of go shove. It's like, he's like, ha! He gives you a look, and he's like, he makes a playful, like, oh, I'm gonna hit you, I'm gonna punch you, and he just laughs and goes to grab some wine. Like, he did not expect you to do that. A lot of people gasp, like, oh, I can't believe Dumas did that. And Savon does not. He thinks it's fun. It's like, hey, I get to play, and oh, I should have shoved people. Oh, we're allowed to shove each other here. Oh, I didn't know that was a rule here. Oh, darn. And obviously, you're allowed to do that. Oh, those are the rules. Okay, I guess I'll suffer the wine then. And people chuckle about that. Oh, give me another roll off, folks.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh no.
Wow, those two didn't roll very well.
that is a 12.
I flubbed it.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Snake eyes.
McNeil, you are the younger 3 are able to beat you to a chair.
Of course, let the young ones have fun.
Wait, I'm young? Starbearer says. Everyone says, yes.
I'm getting stunt points, so might as well. I'm gonna use 3 to boost and 2 to give a playful push to Starbearer.
What? In the next round. What? Hey! No, she shoved me, she shoved you. Gotta be paying more attention. What? Fine. He seems very upset. Stornhelm is greatly amused that Starbearer nearly tumbled onto his face. We're playing another song out of one. It's like Starbearer's like nursing his... He doesn't seem to be a great loser. You've learned very quickly. Well, it's left to you and Rousseau, it seems. One last roll. That was rolled.
17.
Oh no. Oh, Dame Rousseau. Oh no.
And you find
no.
yourself in the final chair.
Yay!
I'll start the clap for Isabel Dumas.
I'll give a overly exaggerated bow.
People
What
clap.
fun and games. What fun and games.
This is one 10 Islander game I think I could get used to.
Ha!
Oh, it's
You
a
should
galleon
say-
game. What are you talking about? Says Stornhelm.
Hey, it was a shared invention, Elder Stornhelm. Can we agree on that?
I mean, I think it was
Yes.
Vetlulian, says Safwan. And he's just smiling because
We
he knows
can-
he's poking Stornhelm. Stornhelm gets a little irate, but he's not. He doesn't really care.
We
he's
can
just, he's just a bit.
agree.
He's a bit deep in the wine. You're learning.
I think we could all agree that Galley invented great music and the 10 Islanders can invent chairs, so it's an equal contribution, I think.
At this point, people start petering out. That's just the later part of the night, and that exhausted a few people in the room. So the party starts petering out. More and more people are leaving.
I, at some point, will also take my leave. I'll thank Isabel for hosting. Do invite me next time there is a party. As you can see, I may be old, but I still know how to dance.
Oh, I'm afraid I missed your dancing, sir. But perhaps the next party you should host, and we could hear the pipes.
Ah, yes, the majestic pipes. Gerard does a wonderful rendition of the flower of the Tin Isles. And I'll go say goodbye to Elder Stonehelm. Thank you for the lovely evening.
Dumas imagines if there are any flowers in the Tin Islanders, they gotta be terrible because they survive the cold, rocky climate on a windswept coast.
Elder Stonehelm, do not forget what I have offered you tonight, and I hope it wasn't merely the wine speaking, but I do look forward to our next cooperation, so to speak.
Sornhelm says to you, yes. We have people for this.
Yes, people. And I'll like.
Siphon kind of taps you on the elbow briefly as you're starting to step away from Stornhelm.
Oh, yes?
I would like to have meeting with you at your house tomorrow morning if you're not too busy, Lieutenant.
Jim, who is this guy?
That is Lieutenant Tavian Safwan of the Imperial Guard.
The Imperial Guard. I'll raise an eyebrow. Is he wearing his Imperial Guard uniform right now?
Oh, yeah.
Is this an order, Lieutenant, or is this a request?
We need to share notes. That's most I think we should say in such jovial surroundings.
Breakfast is at 8 in the morning when the rooster crows. Do not be late. And Alex
gives you a nod and a knowing, well, not a knowing look, but a there's something to the way they're looking at you, like they're trying to communicate something, but it's lost on you at the moment. It must be some Galatian thing that's lost on your understanding.
But I'm thinking he gets the message.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll buzz off then.
Bianchi, give me one more communication roll, as you probably had a chance to speak with everyone again a bit before everyone petered away. Because people would come by to say hi to Stornhouse, so they'd have to come by you anyway. $14, you say? Count up your successes so far.
Yeah, because it's not like I'm doing for the glory of the Emperor and like pumping my fist. It's more subtly just trying to guide conversations in that way.
Come on, book. There we go. You get the feeling by the night's end, you've gotten some people to rethink their position, but you get the feeling that you haven't really turned anyone to face a different direction, to put it that way. You might have to follow up with some of these people at another time. But you made a considerable amount of progress. You have like 15 successes accrued. You just need more.
Yeah, that's much better than nothing. Yeah, I'll be staying around the Leopold until he's good and ready.
Unless Dumas intercepts Stornhelm, he'll probably be on his way.
Oh no, I got everything out of him that I wanted. Which is to say, I don't consider him a suspect.
Yeah, I'll just give a nod to Isabel and Dame Sophia.
They'll acknowledge. Sophie will nod at you.
Same.
No. Follow or escort him back.
And eventually, once you get to the house, you'll be allowed to head back to the garrison house. You will gain aid of Officer Riverwind, which will give you a plus to Lysel and a negative to. It's always a negative to somebody. Who would be annoyed that you're doing his stuff?
Me.
Well, the bourgeois, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll put me at neutral with them now.
I can't spell. There's an R in there somewhere. Anyway. But yeah. Aid of Officer Riverwind will make the liaison to the cell more favorable to you, but the bourgeois will be a little more wary of you because you seem to be an extension of another salon. Because although Stornhelm is himself a bourgeois man, it's like, yeah, but he favors his family over their concerns.
Yeah, as you should.
Lieutenant Safon kind of goes over and specifically did wait till everyone else started petering out, trying to be the last guest to leave, as it were. Well, so Lieutenant Dumas, you seem to have accounted for yourself rather well. Haven't seen a gathering like this since the Marburg, honestly.
I would imagine you'll have to forgive what scenes here were provincial, but to bring a taste of Lumerberg was definitely a goal.
Salons have their uses, both before, during, and after Revolution. Rousseau kind of gives him a look.
And I say, if only I knew which this was.
The Waltz of Revolution, Dumas. The Waltz of Revolution. Good evening. Good evening. And that night comes and goes rather well, I think. And I will give Dumas a reputation with the bourgeois. Actually, salons with a taste of the capital, which will help you with the bourgeois, and further hold you with the common folk because you have your fancy parties. We don't get that fancy parties like that. We weren't allowed to go. But you've impressed the bourgeois of Lysel, who will be talking about that. Even with the chaos to come, they will remember that one blissful bit of fun. And remember the playfulness of the shoving about chairs and debating things, even debating things in a very lighthearted way, rather than with blood and guts about it.
What horror? There won't be any horror. Surely.
Yes, a new day dawns, and but one day remains before the Emperor is to arrive. Already, people in the docks will be speaking of the coming of Almanian ships, as the Imperial Princess is not too far away herself. One would swear the two parties will have ordained their meeting down to the minute on a watch. Almost a military precision, if you will. But what on this day do the three of you do? With the grand ceremony to come and your friend to return.
Who wants to go first?
And actually, I'll highlight. Do any of you meet each other before? Actually, there's one thing I have to preempt immediately. Sifwan goes to meet McNeil.
So, McNeil, you're first.
Yeah.
I guess I am. All right. The usual. I shall greet him. Has Thorn left?
You invited him to stay until the Emperor got here. So unless you want him, unless you want him to leave, he'll hang about.
No, of course. He can stay until then. I shall invite the lieutenant inside, offer tea or other refreshments, and serve a small platter of grapes and cheese.
He appreciates it. He's in uniform, but he kind of takes his hat off when he comes inside, you know.
So, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, I wanted to pay my personal respects to an Earl of the Ten Isles. We really haven't had the chance the last couple days, and I didn't want to make the Dumas Salon to be about, well, the Ten Isles. No disrespect to you, but it isn't very nice to upstage a salon. And
yes, you said we have to compare notes. What sort of notes were you referring to?
Well, digs into their coat and pulls out a pocketbook and starts flipping some pages over. Well, you see, there's some of the guard that we're going to have here and there. I believe that the Captain Leclerc will be standing with me and my infantry in the command tent further near the garrison house. And then when the Emperor's party comes, you will be holding guard at the docks about... Let me draw it out for you here. So I'm going to have you about there, near the houses, so you can be ready to receive the incoming personal guard of the Emperor. And eventually he will be making his journey up to the Stornhelm house, pay his respects to his father, and then he's gonna come back to collect the rest of us and the garrison. What I'd like you to do is to make sure that no one untoward starts trying to approach this crossing. I want that to be secure so that when we come back down, we will have a platform from which the Emperor can stage his approach to meet the Empress here at the crossing. So I want this road secured, both of these roads to be secured, more or less, but mainly this crossing.
Is he in a position to give me orders?
Officially, he does outrank you, but you can appeal to Leclerc. he does outrank you by being part of the regular army. You're both lieutenants, but he outranks you a tad because he's part of the regular army rather than the militia. But if you thought if you thought he was overstepping, or you think this plan's bad, you could take it to Captain Leclerc because he's the final. Until the Emperor gets here, he gets the final say of what's happening in his town.
So, Lieutenant, why do you think that there may be someone untoward? Do you think that there may be someone untoward coming towards the Emperor?
Well, I've spoken with Captain Leclerc, and he suggested that there is, I mean, as the plots have been, he's heard of and he shared with me some of the counter movements you and your men have, done with the church guard, and also with and then I learned of the troubles with, the noble house of the north, who will be, you may know them as House Verlaine. Some of their troops are found suspiciously with some black powder, to which your sous-lieutenant Dumas saw to devastate them completely. So I expect something may occur. I suspect something may happen. I'd rather have an advance sentry at the crossing at the docks, so that way no one has any time to do anything foolish or hide any gunpowder or such at the crossing or in the townhouses adjoining.
Well, if these were the only notes you were looking to complain, I'm afraid you've walked a long way for me only to say, all right. You could have summoned me to the militia garrison.
Well, I was wondering if there's anything that hasn't been officially recorded that you want me to be aware of. There are certain things that captains aren't made privy to, as I understand.
And what are you exactly insinuating?
I'm insinuating that as a lieutenant of a military unit, you may not share every step and sneeze that your soldiers do, but you as a lieutenant would be aware. Perhaps there's something that Captain Leclerc doesn't know that I need to know. This isn't about saving face, McNeil. This is about making sure our Emperor stays safe. Well, my Emperor stays safe.
One of my sous-lieutenants you've met yesterday, and if I recall correctly, you two hit it off splendidly. Also, one of my corporals you've met yesterday, recently promoted in fact. The only thing suspicious which might be going on in the ranks, which I haven't told the captain about, is that my corporal likes to have his trysts with the men in the militia garrison during the night. So I have gathered. But unless the Emperor is concerned about that, then he should have no other problem. My troops are clean. Captain Leclerc's troops are clean.
I have a question for you then, Earl of Strathcliffe.
Mm.
Are you willing to die for the Emperor of Gallia?
Oh, I'll raise an eyebrow. Well, dying isn't exactly how I hoped my retirement would go, you know. Haven't I done enough for your country? And my country at that?
If you are wanting in your sacrifice, then I would ask that you stay home rather than attend to the guard of the crossing. I will not have someone in half measure defending my Emperor.
Half measure. You insult me, sir. You come to my house and you sit here at my table dining on my food and you insult me like this.
I address what is truth. You are unwilling to sacrifice yourself for the Emperor of Gallia. Why should I suffer you to be guarding him?
I have half a mind to kick you out right now, Lieutenant Safwan.
I would like to see you try, Lieutenant McNeil.
Please, step outside.
Give me a communication check.
Duel.
Safwan takes a last drink of his tea and then steps outside your house.
Mm-hmm. And I'll stand on my porch and I'll shout at him like a proper old man. I shall not be insulted by some measly upstarted lieutenant, be you Imperial Guard or no. Get off my property. Question my loyalty again, and next time I will have you shot.
You threaten an Imperial Guard lieutenant, militiaman.
Off with you! I'm an Earl of Strathcliffe.
This is not the 10 Isles. This is the free empire of Gallia. Good day to you, old man.
And I'll bite my thumb at him.
There's a rep for that. I have to think about it. Damn. Well, it's definitely a minus with militarists. Trying to think it's a +4. Because someone's going to be impressed by this, because you basically told him to pound sand.
Yeah.
Good gracious.
The common folk, of course.
You know what? You did very much stand on that point. Sure. Trying to think of the words just so I remember what what happened. Lysel homes are not garrison houses. Very much chasing a officer who outranks you out of your house, which is like, and then sort of like out in the countryside. If someone's giving you lip in your house, you chase them out. What about his title? I don't give a damn about his title. Get out of my house. It's like, oh, well, the common folk will appreciate your bravery if nothing else. In a much darker day, your house would have been burned down. But better days, that won't happen, right?
Look, I may be an outsider and a nobody in the Lysel militia, but you can't come to my house and question my loyalty. Get the fuck out of my house and then question my loyalty.
So, Dumas or Bianchi, I will see how your mornings are going.
Not worse.
What exactly is bad about this? Nothing. He got what was coming to him.
No, this is just one of those situations that if you hear about, you write down and put in your back pocket for the next time you get chewed out by the lieutenant. You have ammunition.
Ammunition about what? Me chasing an upstart Imperial Guardsman out of my house?
Chasing a superior officer off.
My house, my rules. My Mojo Dojo Casa house.
I'll have to remember that line.
Must be 10 Islanders saying.
Yeah, go for it.
Do I have anything?
I mean, do you want me to go while you think about it?
Yeah, sure.
So I'll be doing early morning, like an early morning run around Isel, and if I come across any members of the bourgeois, I'll again try to sway.
Use your morning gazette. Want to talk about how awesome the Emperor is? It's 10 in the morning. Do we really have to have this conversation? Hey, I'm just going for a run. But no, you could do that, yeah.
Well, it kind of like a. Do you wish to run with me, or
you want to run with me?
You know what I'm trying to do.
I do. I'm just imagining like. There's some who'd be like, "What? I don't go for runs. What are you doing?" And some going like Starbearer would be like, "Oh yeah, I'll go for a run." It's like, okay, like what? I'm athletic. What do you want me to do? So yeah, give me a communication check.
How to be awkward.
Some people just get printing presses. Other people learn to go for runs. 11's not gonna do it.
11. Yeah. I don't think I've got any more.
Yeah, you only get 2,
points.
yeah. Yeah, you spend your morning trying to get... I mean, on the plus side, you learn that Starbearer will go for runs with you if you want, but He doesn't seem particularly interested or disinterested about the Emperor. He's too busy talking about this guy's house and that guy's business. You very quickly learn that Starbear is a bit of a gossip.
Yeah. So unless anyone's willing to loan me an action point, yeah, that's it for me.
You know,
I don't have any.
You can have mine, even though you're a filthy spy.
Ah, yes, filthy spy. Sure, I'll try to re-roll, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna roll less than an 11.
As opposed to being a clean spy, but you know.
Oh,
That's Riverwind.
Mm.
ooh,
You're welcome.
thank you.
The spirit of McNeil watches over.
You're not dead yet.
Give it to
I
him.
mean, you're gonna be in a bit.
Mm.
You do find that you're still short of changing hearts and minds, as you are able to get some people. You're able to get Starbearer on board, which you get the feeling he'll spread your word a little bit, but yeah, there's a bit of you're starting to get the feeling that Leopold's constant bad mouthing has made people wary of the virtues of the Salon de la Salle. Because they're more worried. They're kind of worried about. It's actually, you start to learn it's not so much they dislike the Emperor, because his fame has kind of brought Lysel into a brighter light, because they get to brag this is where the Emperor was born. But Leopold is a character, and the bourgeois of Lysel are not terribly enthused to be associated with Leopold, because they have to live with the guy. And then if they have to go to his salons, then they have to see Leopold every salon. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's still quite a bit. Essentially, I was trying to do this morning, because probably in the afternoon I'd make some form of a report to Riverwind.
Yeah. What about you, Dumas? What's your morning like?
Which direction is the Emperor supposed to approach from?
From the east.
Okay, and is he supposed to be here before or after the Elamanian ship?
They're arriving simultaneously. Sorry. He'll be arriving. Their Armenian ship should be visible from the water by the time he arrives. And by the time he does his little circuit, he is supposed to be here. Like, she's supposed to be getting off the docks, and he's supposed to be coming from the north here to meet at this intersection somewhere around the same time. So they're somewhat coordinated.
That's tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna go for a ride to have a look around the underside of the piers, and then just down the road a bit. Just look and see if anyone's already made their move.
Give me a perception check.
This is where I'm gonna wish I still had the point. Yep.
You see nothing untoward on the docks. You also don't get any stun points.
All right, then I'll have to move on.
As you go to move up the road a bit and check a bit more, you do notice that sometime during the morning, Rousseau must have left the house and went to the grand altar before the Saint Solar statue in the middle of town. And she's knelt in prayer.
A pointless venture, but her choice. But I don't wish to interrupt.
Anything that McNeil's hoping to achieve with this morning as other than that unpleasantness? Cormac.
Yes, sorry, what was that? Sorry.
Asking if there's anything else you were going to do with your morning other than that unpleasantness that you had with Safwan.
I'll be fuming about this for some time. I'd like to ask what Sir Thorn thinks I should have perhaps done in my situation. Or was I right in showing him the door? And perhaps I should have shown him the back of my claymore as well.
Well, I mean, you're part of their military, so I mean, if you don't care to do any better than lieutenant of a militia, then what you did was right. But if you want to see more than that, I wouldn't make too many enemies in the regular army if I were you.
But it wasn't by choice that I am here, in the military, that is. It's sort of forced upon you.
You could have come home. You didn't have to stay here.
Home doesn't have this, and I'll point to my vineyard. At last, as much as I tried to grow things on Strathcliffe, they never grew.
Well, it's a price to be paid for everything, and the Icellian's price is service.
Curse them. Curse them and their service. Haven't they served their country enough?
They don't seem to think so.
Buggers. All of them.
Well, I think you've answered your own question there, my lord.
You're quite right. I shall go to my room. I'm not done fuming yet. I'll go fume in my room.
By the high of day, and as the sun begins to slowly set, or begin its setting course, as it were, a sergeant of the no, they'd send a corporal along. A corporal is sent along with a letter to your house.
Okay, I'll accept the letter. What does it say?
It's your new orders from Captain Leclerc for what you're going to be doing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. What am I going to be doing tomorrow?
What
we agreed on, or?
No, you're being reassigned to guard the lake near the Sornhelm house.
Perhaps it is for the best. I'll crumple up the letter and throw it behind me and tell the corporal, "You may go now, thank you."
Sir, here's a salute and scurries off.
I hate the army.
Well, at least you're just in the militia, says Thorn. If you're in the regular army, you might have been flogged for disobeying an officer's orders.
The regular army would never take an outsider like me, would they? Nor someone as old as me.
The Galatians have their traditions of Saint Solara leading the young and old alike to glory, and he waves his hand. I don't know how true that is, but they seem to believe it. As long as one has enough valor, one is able to take the field.
Surely, what desperation must you have to hire someone like me in the army? Not a fighter, you know that, Thorn. Never was.
I think you have a bit of Islander steel in you. You could probably fight if you had to. But that's just it, right? I mean, who gets an old man to fight a war if you have plenty of young men to die for it? What happens when you start running out of young men?
The steel, Thorn, was always in my words, not my sword. You know, the sword was always too heavy for me to carry. My brother was always the stronger one.
That's why they invented That's why they invented muskets.
Black powder. Yes. The great equalizer. Fine. Captain Leclerc, if that is your wish, or perhaps it is not his wish, but the Imperial Guard's wish. I spit on the Imperial Guard, but fine, it shall be done. Well, let's get ready then.
So you're gonna go to your room and fume some more tonight, my lord?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fuming tonight. Or perhaps, Thorn, you would like to engage in a friendly game of polo.
Ooh, I could do for some polo.
Oh, do tell me, yesterday when I was at the soiree, did you happen to see anything or anyone?
No. I saw like the same remains that that Gerard did, but I haven't seen anyone new come by.
Good. Do you have a horse? If not, we shall borrow one from the militia garrison. And we'll head over to that field over there and play some polo. Sad that by proper Tin Islander tradition we do not have the heads of our enemies, but tonight this bowl shall do.
I'll get my horse. I have it stabled up at the Griffin Inn.
Good. Let us go then.
So you
We'll
go
go play
to
ball.
enjoy your evening, playing some polo out in the fields.
Mm-hmm.
Bianchi. You asked to meet
yeah.
with Riverwind?
Yeah, because I'd be giving a report of last night.
It's a shame we didn't know specifically why Sir Thorn was here. But he is...
He will be staying for the Emperor's visit.
That's strange. I heard that from others that McNeil said he was going to be going today.
Judging from how he hasn't left the house, I do not believe that is the case.
Interesting that McNeil lied to you like that. How very odd. Why would he do that?
It's either misremembered or did not deem it worthy for me to know.
He may be an older man, but he has his wits about him.
As for
Have
the,
you-
go.
Well, I was going to ask you if you had any luck getting Dumas or McNeil to help you with your endeavors.
Not so much. McNeil was more interested in playing musical chairs, and Thomas was too busy hosting. I did manage to talk around quite of the bourgeois. I still believe there's some work left to be done, but in general, the attitude has shifted closer to the salon.
Would that I did not have to send the Elder Stornhelm with you, but he was the only way to get you in there. I imagine he blunted your efforts more than he aided them.
Yes, but by the end of the night, he at least remembered I had a name.
Oh, that bodes well for you. He might invite you to a salon of his own. If he does, say yes, but do not drink too much of the wine. He tends to wait till it goes to vinegar before he drinks it.
I shall keep that in mind.
Says it's good for the heart. Shakes his head.
And I managed to talk around the blacksmith starbearer. Seems a bit of a gossip, so that also aids us.
That's a foreboding name for a man to have.
Ah, yes, starbearer.
You know what the origins of Starbearers were?
I'm not too familiar, no.
The Empire of Magi had people who held aloft the blazing guiding stars. They are... To be a Starbearer is to be trusted greatly by the Magi, or have earned enough valor to hold their banner. I mean, not like we're having any new calls to the old empire, but it's not a wonder that he is doing a trade in Lyseld in Lumerberg. Not a bad name, but it's not a very auspicious one.
Ah, be that as it may, I did not sense from him he was ill-intentioned.
I swear, Bianchi, the closer our emperor gets, the more demons I see in the shadows.
Well, that's what happens when you have a bright light approaching. The shadows grow deeper.
Mm. You were going to say something else, Bianchi?
Nothing of too much import. I do not know exactly where I shall be stationed tomorrow, so I suppose at some stage I will return to the garrison and receive my orders.
Mm. I'm sure that Lieutenant Borgia will be happy to see you back at his side. Hopefully between the two of you, well, I won't ask of you to do too much other than your duties, and do as any good militiaman should. Once the meeting is done, I'll see about speaking with the Emperor about what you've done so far, and we'll see how he feels about you then. And if he has anything of need of you beyond your normal duties, I mean.
I don't know how to say this without it sounding ungrateful, disrespectful. I do not care if you speak of me to the Emperor.
Oh?
I do this because it's my duty. It is what I believe. I do not do this to curry favor.
Would you
I'm
rather...
sorry if that sounds disrespectful. That's not my intent.
You're doing a fair amount of effort to see yourself in Le Salon de la Selle. But you do not carry favor?
No, as I said in one of our first meetings, I believe in the Emperor and I believe in the King. That does not mean I need to carry their favor. I am simply doing my duty.
And what do you see your duty is, monsieur?
Whatever they would ask of me.
Then we shall see what the Emperor asks of you, then.
Yes, I'm not the most intelligent man. I know I have a certain set of skills. So, whatever is asked of me, I shall do to whatever ability I can.
I'm sure we'll find use for you sooner rather than later, monsieur. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
And we look to Dumas finishing her ride up and down the way. Seeing nothing beyond various people excited for the Emperor to be coming tomorrow, and soldiers, both militia and Imperial Guard, patrolling the streets. Various soldiers saluting to you, Imperial Guard and militiamen alike, because you are an officer, so obviously they're going to salute an officer. Although you notice that your militia are wary with the Imperial Guard partnered with them so often. It's like, a little more. You guys are really intense about this whole military thing. Yes, it's our job. Like, well, I mean, it's my job on Tuesdays. You know, that's it's a weird, like, professional everyday soldier to weekend soldiers. You know.
Is there substantial high ground in an afternoon's ride?
Give me the better of intelligence or perception.
Or the same.
The only one you could that the church bell tower would be one, I suppose. Other than the cannon towers.
Are
Like
they
the one-
approximately of the same height?
The cannon towers are slightly shorter than the church tower, in a sort of deference to the church. As if there's a rule, not so official or enshrined in law anymore, but there's a sort of a rule not to build taller than the steeple of the church. Or the bell tower, I should say.
Then I will go to the church's bell tower to look out over the horizon.
So you ride up to the church and find inside the various. Imagine you don't ride your horse into the
I do
church.
not.
That's the right one. Yes. Yeah, you find yourself to the church. As you walk in, there's some people who are gathered here. There's no service going on at the moment. It's not one of the prayer hours, but there's some people gathered here getting ready for the next one that's coming up. You do see that there's one of the priestesses attending to the altar and preparing for the next reading. They look up and see you in your uniform, and then do you wave at them at all, or do you just you could call them over, but they don't. You can just leave them alone.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay.
I'll just head upstairs.
And you make your way up to the bell tower. You're in militia uniform, right?
Yeah.
Yep. The church people don't chat. They'll look at you, and there's a half second. There's a half beat of who's coming up here sort of look, and then they see the uniform, and immediately they just kind of nod respectfully at you and let you carry on your business. Because as a militia person, you have right to move about as on your official duties. They're not supposed to stop you. Especially since you're not drawing arms in the church, so they're like, oh, well, you're not coming here for violence, so we're not going to really... And if you are, then they wouldn't so much stop you as they'd probably wonder if they should arm themselves, is more the issue. Like, are we supposed to be fighting to defend the church or something? Like, no, it's fine, it's fine. Oops, got the wrong... No, come back. This one, this one? It's the second one. Oops. People are downstairs. And you find yourself in the bell tower.
Yeah, I'll look out on the horizon for any signs of large movement.
What direction do you look?
I mean, I will check all the 4 cardinal directions unless there's...
So you're doing a full sweep of every direction.
Or
Or are you spending like the entire evening spotting each and every one of them? Like making this sort of an unofficial guard post?
Yeah, I don't have anything to do this afternoon, so I'll commit some time to paying attention to each direction.
Do you have a spyglass?
I do not.
Which direction do you want to check first?
North?
Give me perception C. To the north, you see the stretch of wood that extends away from the village. As you're looking up this way into the thicker wood. Of larger movements, you can see some of the Imperial Guard starting to come back, and you presume Diego is with them, with some of his with a couple of voltigeurs who are coming back from they basically did a big sweep of the wood here and then came back. So you're starting to see them coming back this way.
All right. To the west?
Give you another perception see. You see the faintest hint of small fishing boats. But no grand movements of soldiers or cavalry or wagon trains or anything like that.
And the east?
Out to the east, you see that there is a lot of movement, of course, within the garrison house, as it seems that Captain Leclerc has summoned the full brace of people to be prepared for tomorrow morning, because the Emperor's expected to come sometime in the morning, so no one's supposed to go home. They're all supposed to get, which you kind of already know this, but you're an officer. You're allowed to be doing your own thing. You even get the feeling that probably like by the time Diego gets back, he'll have just enough time to get back to garrison, lie down, and then be up in the morning to get to work. You see no one. You might see somebody. Hold on. Oh, you do. Even on a good day, they don't make that roll. Well, you do see some movement of. Actually, you spy one person in particular. I take that back. You see the white coat of the Officer of the Crown, Riverwind. As he's outside the walls doing a walk. He kind of stands out because he's in his bright white jacket, his bright silvery jacket, I should say.
And you see me and Thorn playing polo.
You probably would, yeah. Like they're trying to get a good game of polo in while the sun's still setting.
But Riverwind doesn't look to be doing anything particularly suspicious. He's just out on a walk.
He's pacing around the outside of the garrison house, occasionally stopping now and again to check his book and take some notes, and then keep walking.
All right, and I guess to the south.
Perception check. On distant horizon, you can just barely see the hint of sails of tall ships. But beyond that, it's kind of hard to see. You're not maybe quite to make it out clearly. It's very far away what you're looking at, like just barely on the horizon.
I don't know if this may be making something up that isn't likely to happen. But from my cursory military education, does it look possible to do we have large enough docks that several ships could get enough Marines on the shore to challenge the militia in a short period of time?
Intelligence roll.
Because of the direction I'm coming at was from intelligence engineering. I know what the bridge could support.
I'll
I mean,
take that.
the
Yeah.
piers can support.
Hard to say. You've never. It looked to be fairly solid, the dock, when you came by it. But it definitely is a ship. It is a dock that sees one merchant ship at a time. And if there's multiple ships who all need to use the dock, they sometimes will use smaller boats to get out to it, to kind of not crowd each other. And Dockmaster will kind of figure out who needs to literally be at the dock unloading, and it's like, okay, you're done. You need to move your ship out of the way so the other ship can come in. So a single troop transport, if you will, could dock and unload a fair amount of Marines. It would depend on the sailing ability of the people, if they could do it, if they could cycle their ships quickly, or if they were going to use small boats and just move people on a sort of amphibious landing scenario. But from what you gather of the dock, you don't think it would be limited to one ship at a time if they were to disgorge. Just because it's not really designed to house more than one large ship at a time. Boats, sure. A bunch of boats coming to shore is one thing, but a whole ship unloading, well, that's different. Whether that could be a challenge to the militia? It's, I mean, they are militia. A lot of things can challenge them.
Yeah.
It's kind of why the Imperial Guard's here. Just in case something happens that the militia can't handle. With numerical advantage alone.
Yeah, I think we had some reason early on to discount the thought that Alamanians were going to be the ones attacking, but I just thought for half a second, a great way to quickly seize this town and maybe kill the Emperor would be to, instead of unload a princess, unload
Marines.
Marines.
That is a method tried and true that that people have done to invade Lysel. That's why the cannon towers exist.
But what if one had several carts of black powder that could make the towers not exist? It's just that the ships with the Marines don't know that powder won't be there anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'm making things up now. Time to go to the garrison, I guess.
As you begin to descend out of the bell tower, you are intercepted.
Hopefully by a person and not a cannonball or a musket ball.
Or a fighter airplane.
Or a spare.
It's actually a fireball. Haha, it's actually magical. No,
Oh, finally, I've been waiting to use the magic stun points all this time.
You find stepping up into the bell tower is a woman dressed in garments of the sun, but not of the setting sun. Instead, the sun on high, Mustakolani.
These are the people from the far south that have the slightly different religion.
From the far east, across the ocean.
Oh, okay.
Far northeast, I should say. As she notices you're in there, she immediately joins her hands together and kind of nods her head at you. Says something in her language. You don't know Mustakolani. And then she switches to trade. Good day to you, militiaman. Or
I
good evening, I
don't
suppose.
think I've had the pleasure. My name is Lieutenant Dumas.
I am Nadia Raman. I am one who walks the path. I suppose the closest would be a priestess of sorts.
Oh, okay. It is a surprise to see you here in this place.
They say this is where the Saint Solara fell in her final days.
They
So
do say that.
I come to pay pilgrimage and honor her setting sun. Have you done this as well? And she moves to look at the setting sun.
That is not why I was up here. No.
Oh.
Military matters.
You are not church guard.
No. No, there are no church guard around here.
Oh. Sad to hear.
Do I know? Do these two differing versions of the faith of the sun? Do they have a great animosity, or are they relatively tolerant of each other?
Give an intelligence roll. You remember there was a holy war that resulted in the reconquering of the Wenalani lands? You've never seen a Mustakolani temple before? You never seen one practicing anywhere in Lumerburg? You've never heard anything particularly good said about the Mustakolani in general, really. Beyond some of the conquering efforts that Elrond Stornhelm did in his military career. We did a bit of recovering of artifacts, shall we say. It didn't go terribly well for him in the end, but he did manage to get away with quite a bit of things from that land, so he's not terribly popular over there, you imagine. But as for the religion, you don't know of any official law against it. There's no blasphemy laws anymore, but this is probably the first practitioner of the Path of the Sun that you've ever met.
Have you traveled far?
All paths are short in the light of the sun, but more on a more earthly part, my pilgrimage has had many stops. Although my maps were old, so I learned very quickly how large Gallia was, and my map said this place was a queendom. And then people on the boats told me it was a republic. And when I arrived ashore, in what were, I thought, Wenalani lands, they were instead Imperial Gallian. I wonder if...
must have been traveling for a long time. The Empire is several years old.
So you say. So it must be.
From what lands were you most recently in?
She names off a few places in Mustakolani that you know nothing about. to the continent, it's all Mr. Kolani. It's all the same thing. It's like, but there are like smaller, apparently, smaller areas that are divided among them that you are privy to. Eventually, she mentions. Eventually, I went to the areas most easterly of the Empire of Gallia and went crossed the mount into Enalani. And then I came through the Almanian Empire, and I then came up here into Lysel.
What were the docks in Alemania like?
Busy. A lot of soldiery and marching about. But that is the Almanian way. They love to show their steel plates and swords and rifles and such.
They were putting these on ships?
They were showing them off. Marching about. Says something, Miss Kulani. Military marching with loud horns. She says the Mysticalani word again and shrugs. Like she's trying to say a certain word, but she doesn't know what that word is in trade or Gallian.
What did the people speak of there?
You notice the sun has fully set and disappeared. Well, she turns and looks to you. I would say they spoke very little to me. They had what I heard, what people thought I did not understand, was that, and take, this is not my word, but the words of others. And I would not say I know their heart, only what they were said. But they said of your emperor that he was no emperor, but he is being, how did they say it? Ennobled by marrying up. I think I said that right. Sorry if I said something very rude. I'm simply repeating.
No.
Good. It wasn't rude then. Well, they were saying it rather guardedly. Well, as the night comes, I hope the light of the moon shows you the sun's grace. And she joins her hands and bows at you again.
I'll give a slight nod and I'll say good night to you, and I will leave.
And that would be the last night of peace Lysel would see.
Stop being so ominous. No. We like peace. No. More peace.
And that will be the end of today's mission and episode. For all of you watching, thank you very much for watching. For all of you playing, thank you very much for playing. And next time, the Emperor arrives. Have a good one. I like to think I'm more foreboding than ominous.